in what has to be one of the biggest weeks in all of sports, and that is, of course, Super Bowl week. I mean, over 130 million people are going to watch this sporting event on Sunday. It is the number one sporting TV event in our country now. That's what makes this thing absolutely sensational and how it's grown. Last year, the Philadelphia Eagles had the most viewed Super Bowl of all time with 127 million plus. This year, they're expecting about 130 to 135 million people that are going to tune in to watch the Super Bowl on Sunday. Seahawks and Patriots, baby. I tell you, I can't wait. There's so many storylines around it. And, of course, locally in Philadelphia, the Vic Fangio saga starts. You know, maybe Adam Schefter, when he was on The Fanatic in Philly, maybe this is kind of what he was eyeballing, that there was some rumblings going on that potentially Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator, might call it a career. He is 67 years of age. He's been doing this thing 40 plus years. How much longer is he going to do it? By the way, if you're an Eagle fan right now, this is the last hurrah for Fangio. Even if this is the last, you better be preparing. 2027, you're not going to have Vic Fangio as your D coordinator. You know, I heard somebody make this comment, and I was going back and forth with Hugh Douglas, and I was texting him, and I said the same thing he said to me. Shit, if you're deciding whether or not to retire, you're already retired. When players go back and forth like this, and you're thinking about checking out, dude, you're already half checked out. Now, I'm not going to tell you Vic's going to give you a half-ass effort in this upcoming year because the dude's not made like that. Sills, like I told Xander, if Sirianni flops again, well, it's Josh Gazard will be the Eagles' next head coach. No way. No way is Josh Gazard going to be the next Eagle head football coach. I like your thinking process because he's a play caller. If this kid, Sean Mannion, if he fails, that's your next OC. I think they're hedging their bets on the guy. They're praying the guy turns out to be great so they don't have to call up a guy from the reserve. Your reserve is Josh Gazard. This is not a really solid plan they have at offensive coordinator. I'm sorry. I don't see it like everyone else does, that a guy who's 24 months old as a coordinator, that this thing is going to pan out and be something special. Hey, it might, and I might be 1,000% wrong. But when's the last time you ever seen a guy with zero experience at calling the plays go on to win a Super Bowl? Have you ever seen that? And it's not like you're building the team with the kid. The team's built. It's already built. Sills, it's the offseason. I was watching Carson Wentz. Boy, his arm was special and attacked the middle of the field in 17. Carson Wentz was a great thrower from the pocket. Here, like I said to you before about a guy like Carson Wentz. By the way, I appreciate you guys coming aboard. Super Chats go to the top. And also, please hit that like button, okay? Get this. This is the same dude that told me that Kevin Petula would be an easy transition. Yeah, okay, guy. How'd that pan out, kid? No, yeah, let me watch M. Reyes change history and tell you that he never thought Kevin Petula was going to be a top-flight coordinator. It's the same asshole that told you that Keely Ringo would be an all-pro. Okay? What happened to him, Sills? Who are you referring to? He got demoted? Okay, well, that's called not working and not panning out. Sills wasn't play calling plays until he was a Giant DC. Actually, Bill Belichick on defense had been putting the defenses together for Parcells when Parcells was the D coordinator for the New York Giants. And the reason that Bill Parcells elevated Belichick to the DC position was because he had already been installing plays and calling plays while Bill was on the side of just putting the defenses together. It's one of the reasons why Willington Mayer hired Parcells, is because of the way that he was more of a CEO type coach. Bill was already, ask Lawrence Taylor, Bill was already calling plays when he was the linebacker coach in New York. Ray Perkins hired him. It wasn't Parcells. Parcells was the guy that went to Ray and said, I think this guy should be calling plays. He's a savant. And that's why he got elevated immediately as soon as Bill got the job. Okay? Sills, who was the caboose in the Patriots Super Bowls, Brady or Bill? None of those guys. Those guys were hand in hand with one another. Brady's nowhere without Bill. And Bill's nowhere without Brady. Bill Walsh is nowhere without Montana. Jimmy Johnson's nowhere without Troy Aikman. All goes hand in hand, my friends. Sills, when we have a new coaching staff in 2027, we're going to get to that here in a minute. By the way, this offensive coordinator conversation, we're going to get to it. He's 24 months old. I mean, whatever. I don't care how you paint it. Inexperience, never done it. Let's see. You sit here on February 2nd, it's nobody, hey, we're not ripping it. We're just telling you what it is. I don't know. There's no clarity in your offensive coaching staff right now. Zero. You can paint it up, make it sound whatever way you want. You have no certainty on offense. You got certainty on defense. And that may change here in a minute. Make Clint the DC. I'm for it. Love Clint, keep him. Well, here, I will give you a little bit of insight to why Clint Hurt didn't get the defensive coordinating job with the Miami Dolphins. We know this firsthand. Clint Hurt wanted more time because Vic Fangio gave the Eagles a week on his decision. He told them that he'd come back within a week on what his decision would be if he was going to retire or not. Now, by all reports, it sounds like he's coming back for 1 year, but that could still change. So what the Eagles did and what Vic said, hold up on that. Clint Hurt's going to be your defensive coordinator in 2027. He is your defensive coordinator. He will be the defensive coordinator in 2027. No matter what. Vic's back for 1 more year. That's why he didn't get the job. He wanted another week. Jeff Hafley, the brand new head coach of the Dolphins, didn't want to wait. So Drew Rosenhaus and all those guys said, okay, we're going back to Philly. He didn't turn the job down, but it's wording. And so for me also, I want to give you a little clarity. I had Craig Carton on my Sports Grid show on the weekend. John Gruden was not offered the OC job, but there was a report in Tampa when Gruden went on the radio, it was a lawyer's answer. So Craig Carton had called the New York Jets, and he confirmed it with Aaron Glenn that he did call John Gruden. So remember, you got to listen to the wording. John Gruden was never offered the offensive coordinating job. However, they did reach out to him. So it's wording and how you have to listen to these guys. The Eagles are professional PR experts. Words matter, especially when it comes to perception, especially when it comes to the NovaCare building. So remember how this story is going to play out here. Okay? As I said, Super Bowl 60 week, that's not true. John Gruden said he was never offered the offensive coordinating job. Craig Carton on my program, the WFAN Afternoon show host, confirmed it and said, yes, Woody Johnson told him that the Jets had reached out to him and that Aaron Glenn personally called him. Whatever you want to believe, I don't care. That's a you thing, my friend. We just relay the stories because we happen to know some folks and we talk to people. So now, Let's get into this here. Vic Fangio. Let's go here. Oh, sorry, Bruce. All good. My bad. My bad, Bruce. Appreciate you doing this. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button here. Got you, Bruce. All good, brother. Vic Fangio, is he going to retire? Well, how about this? Vic Fangio is either going to retire this week or in a year from now. He's not staying longer than this year. This is it. This is it. Okay? This is the last year you're having Vic. Happy Monday, Big Sills. How you doing? Is the 014 better overall, even though the 2014 won? Is that an indictment on Reed at the time? I think it's an indictment on Donovan McNabb and Terrell Owens. More so than anything. You had the better quarterback than the 2014. You had the better receiver. You had better skilled players. Now, you didn't have Devontae on the other side, but you had a better quarterback. You had a more skilled quarterback. I don't know if you had more of a leader in Donovan McNabb. And you get this. You had a better coach. You had a better coordinator defensively. No, not than the 2014. I'll take that back. You had a better coach, better OC, better quarterback, skill set wise, better wide receiver than he did the 2024 team. Okay? The loss of Vic Fangio, what would it mean? It's not so much that he picks talent and that he can look at a guy like Zach Bond and do this. I want to show you what you're going to miss when this guy does call it, either this year or a year from today. Okay? I want to show you what he does. He'll look at a guy like Zach Bond and go, yeah. He'll look at someone and go, no. Yeah, I think this guy can do it. I think he's got the skill set. Do you understand that he's a 20-foot guy? All he has to do is see 20 feet of film on you, and he can determine and decipher whether or not you could play the position. Then he puts you in a position of success. Look what he did with Adoree Jackson. He knew if he increased the volume of pass rush and got more pressure on the quarterback, that was going to help the back end, and it did by the end of the year. This guy not only has a scheme, I think his scheme is overrated. I think how Vic uses the players in the scheme, that's his skill. He could look at a guy like Sam Mills, and he could look at a guy like Nakobe Dean and go like this. Here's what he can do. Here's what he can't do. Here's what we have to prep for. He's injured. We got to make sure that we give guys behind him as many reps as Nakobe Dean gets. So when this guy's not playing and he's not in the game, the drop-off is not going to be because we haven't properly prepared these guys. Vic's preparation of preparing a defense and evolving a defense, that's what you're going to miss. I mean, he doesn't look at the back of the jersey and sees the names. Okay? He looks at your skill set, what you can and can't do. That's exactly correct. It comes with time and multiple players that you've evaluated. Watching this guy do this, watching Ricky Williams do this, watching Ricky Jackson do this, watching a guy like Pat Swilling do this, watch a guy like Fred Warner. When you're around so many great players, you take a little bit of pieces and you look at this, like Zach Bond's one of his greatest players. I would put Zach Bond in the conversation of, remember something about Sam Mills. Sam Mills was cut. How many times? 5? I know the Browns cut him a bunch of times. I think the Ravens cut him. I think the Steelers may have cut him. There were a bunch of teams that cut Sam Mills. What happens? Well, he ends up going to the USFL. He gets a chance. Vic sees him, puts him in. All of a sudden, everyone sees that because he's so short. Well, this guy can play. What did he do as soon as he became the linebacker coach? like in the mid-'80s. He brought Sam Mills to New Orleans with him, and he created that great linebacking core that had Ricky Jackson and all those great players. And I'm giving you a history lesson on Fangio because he's evolved to where he is right now. The knowledge that guy has, he's like a teacher at Harvard. He could teach a class on, look at a game film on a guy and just go, yeah, that guy can play, that guy can't play. I think that guy struggles with his feet. He takes false steps. He's not great. It's an innate ability to be able to evaluate talent and put him in the right spots. So how confident are you that Big Clint could be the DC in 2027? I want to show you something about Clint Hurt. I'm going to get back in here on Vic here in a minute. And I'm going to show you something here. So Clint Hurt, I've known since he was a kid. He's born in New York. He was a graduate assistant at the University of Miami in 2003 and 2004, which meant that he coached Vince Wilfork. And he worked and was around, and he became an assistant coach. Then he went, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he went to FIU. Then in 2006, he was the defensive line coach. I believe that was for Randy Shannon, who was a former teammate of mine. He was there from 06 to 09, and that's how I got to become more involved with him. Then he went up, and if we're not mistaken there, that 2014 Bears team, if you go there, and will somebody tell me, let me double check here. 2014 Bears coaching staff. If I'm not mistaken, that was my friend Mark Tressman, who was the head football coach and hired him because he was the defensive line coach at the University of Miami. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that's how he got that job, was he went up there with Tressman. And he became the defensive line coach when he was on that staff. And that's how that progressed. Then he went to the Seahawks with Pete Carroll. He was there from 17, 18, 19, 20. He was there 5 years. And he worked there. And then he became the coordinator for Pete in his final season when he was in Seattle. So the relationship and him moving up, he's created himself one of the best resumes out there for his opportunity to become the defensive coordinator. Now, he was in line to get that Miami job, but he needed a week because why? Everybody's waiting to see what Vic is going to do. Hey, by the way, that's not a certainty that Vic is coming back. I don't know who's telling you that. I mean, that's not what I'm hearing. And by the way, I'm not telling you I'm hearing that Vic is retiring. But what I am telling you is that's not a given. That's not a given that dude is coming back. I don't know who told you that. Okay, I mean, I don't know who's saying that right now, but I mean, at the end of the day, here, guys, that's not a given. That's not a given right now that he's coming back. I don't know who's telling you that. So have you ever thought about coaching? Yes. I was offered a job with Butch. I was going to go to work with the Raiders. Back in the day, I even typed out a resume, and I decided to stay with broadcasting. It probably maybe made a mistake because Al Davis was going to take me, and we were going to go work in the personnel department with Ken Herrick. Then I was going to go work in that environment with Al. Al wanted me part of the program. Al hired me to be on the broadcast team. Okay? When you call it a retirement scare, it means the threat is over for a moment. What? What are you talking? Dude, I have no idea how you speak. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. Retirement fear? What, a guy deciding at 67 years of age if he wants to continue or not? That's not a scare, dude. That's reality. I have no idea what you're talking about. My question, Sills. So Clint DC, I'd be good with that. He'll have Pete Carroll, and also he'll have Vic Fangio tendencies. I think that's a good combination. I think Clint Hurt would make a great defensive coordinator here. No matter what you are, no matter who you decide on, unless it's somebody skilled, you're going to take a massive drop. You know what I mean? You're going to take a massive drop here. Sales coaching, he'd be calling everyone a fuckbag. No, not how you motivate people. No way. And now you motivate people, coach them. Do this. This is what you're not doing. Okay? So wait a minute here. Who's they? Who's they? Who's they said he's coming back? I heard that the Eagles haven't confirmed it yet. Who's they? Like, who's they? M. Reyes, who's they? Who's they? Who's they? The Eagles haven't said shit yet. Who's they? Anything? Who's they? I'm curious. I'd like to see it. Who's they? Everyone but you. Who's they? Where is that confirmed that he's back? Where is that confirmed? Where is that confirmed? Show me where that's confirmed. I'd like to see it. That's not what the people down in Miami were telling me. Why Clint Hurt took his name out of consideration for the Dolphins DC job. Tell me who's they. I want to see that the Eagles confirm this. Show me where. Okay, where, Prince? Where is it? Sports Illustrated. Okay, so let me see here. NBC Sports. Vic Fangio confirmed not retiring. NBC Sports considered retiring. Is currently That's not confirmation, jackass. Holy shit. No wonder hey, you sit on that side, guy. I'll be over here. You know what you're talking about. Nobody's confirmed anything. And the Eagles, from what I understand, have not confirmed shit. The Eagles have not confirmed that he's back. L, dude, as usual. 0 for 88. You're in one of those wonderful, like, Bryce Harper swing and misses. This guy will try to tell you everything and make it sound better because at the end of the day, nobody's confirmed shit yet. Who's they? I heard Johnny Mac this morning. Johnny Mac said it's 80% in his eyes. He thinks he's back. It's not a confirmation. I even heard John say the Eagles haven't confirmed nor denied. So, Sills, this could be Cardinals D-line at 26. Nolan Sweat, Ruben Bain. Also, I think they draft target that kid Proctor or Lomu in round 1. I think the Cardinals are going to do some good things, man. Show me that. I just looked at it, but was convinced to stay. Bro, I read that. Okay, we're not going there the rest of the day. The one guys that is not a big drop-off from Fangio is Jim Schwartz. Yeah, but Jim Schwartz runs a completely different defense. Okay? They run a completely different style of defense. Vic is more inside guardrails. Okay. Okay. And get this. However, sources, that's not confirmed. Sources, bro, that's made up. Headlines are written by editors, not columnists. My God. Still, should Howie consider Schwartz? Okay. Carter would destroy he would be absolutely insane in that too. Let's see here. Less margin of error. That's right. In Schwartz's defense. Correct. And Reyes, trust me, you're done today with me because you're an idiot. Gotcha, man. I don't know. Schwartz needs a top 3 pass rusher and 2 bookend corners. Well, Schwartz, in the job that he did in Cleveland, was spectacular. Just a spectacular job of coaching. And really in an organization that was, quite frankly, nowhere on offense. So here, okay? Let me go this here. Why is Vic thinking about retiring? Is it age? Or is it the Eagle front office? What do you think? 67 years old. Age or the Eagle front office? What do you think? Don't you think with all the indecision that's made in the front office, don't you think that that's got to wear on him a little? Crazy, I know. Thank you, brother. How about this? Why is it so important for I heard John McMullen say this, and I thought this was a wild statement. They were never going to give Christian Parker the defensive coordinating job. They wanted somebody with more experience. Well, why did you hire someone with zero experience on offense? It's clearly Nick. Nick's your OC. The guys who you hire as offensive coordinator are in name alone. They're in name alone. Because they hire no one with experience for a reason. They don't want anybody coming in here messing up Nick's offense. That's why you can hire a nobody. Hey, listen, when I say a nobody, hey, the guy's got really a lot of great people talking about him. Let me say this to you. When you don't have a resume and people are talking highly about you, that's something to be concerned about. I heard the same bullshit about Kevin Patullo on how great he was in the room. His play designs, how great he was with his play designs. I heard he was there 5 years, working with Jalen, being part of the building of the offense. Everyone likes him. The thing shit the bed. I mean, just because you're in the building or just because people like you, can you call plays? Yes or no? Very simple. It's very simple, dude. Can you call plays? Yes or no? And you got to ask yourself, once again, you really have to ask yourself, okay, well, I mean, why is Vic considering retirement? I mean, it's clearly got to be because of what's going on in the front office. You hire all these nobodies, and at the end of the day, on defense, you hired all these skilled guys. Clint Hurt was a former defensive coordinator. Bobby King is a respected linebacker coach. You had an up-and-coming guy in Christian Parker. You know what you have? on offense, you got Nick and his boys and Jeff Stoutland. That's not a very good offensive staff. You got exceptional players. Get this. I'm starting to think that the coaching staff's more limited than the quarterback is. I think Vic doesn't want to lose half his guys to free agency and do what he had to do the last 2 years and is build the strong defense from week one. Oh, he's gonna. Dude, they're going to lose to Kobe Dean. Are you bringing back Adoree Jackson? Wow. You're not bringing back Jalen Phillips? I heard that number that people were throwing around this morning. Yeah, well, guess what? Yeah, Drew Rosenhaus, you could tell everybody what that number is. Wait till you get out in the open market and see what the goods and services are. So, you know what you have other agents doing right now? You have other agents propping up people, and what you're doing is, the guy's around $17 million. So you mean to tell me, John McMullen said that Jalen Phillips is better than Josh Sweat. Shit, Josh Sweat got more money. So you think Jalen Phillips is going to get less money than Josh Sweat? No way. Not happening. Once again, Eagles have some dead cap money they got to take care of with them void years. They got a shitload of money they got to hurry up on. And I wonder what Vic's going to do. I don't think he's getting 30. He's getting Milton Williams money. Nick is not the problem. It's a limited quarterback who sucks at football. I disagree with that. I think the quarterback is limited, but I think the one thing the quarterback knows, if he plays within a structured system that doesn't turn the football over, the talent level around him will carry the team to victory, which it has. His numbers are not very good. They're not high-volume numbers. They never will be. But the one thing that he does do, Jalen Hurts is a situational player. In situations, he does make plays. Is he a rhythm player where you see play after play after play after play? No way. But he's a guy that's going to make like 4 or 5 plays in a game. That's going to be good enough to win a ball game for you with the talent level that you have on the football team. Nick's not the problem. Then why do coordinators consistently get fired? If Nick was so good, you either retain him or they come back the following year or they become head football coaches. Pick one. I mean, you ever notice when the Eagles fail, and that's 11 wins. So let me ask you this. You fired 2 coordinators with football teams that win 22-12. Is that right? 10 games over 500. You fired coordinators, and you didn't bring them back to try to develop them as well. Why? Because you're impulsive. Whatever money they give Phillips, they should have gave to Milton Williams. I pray Milton Williams goes on to win the MVP award for the Patriots. I always question that move. I remember saying it in the offseason. When you guys were telling me, hey, can't sign everybody, Milton Williams is not everybody. Milton Williams is a third-round draft choice that you guys had that got better and better and better and better and better and was getting better and better and better and was a force in the Super Bowl with Josh Sweat. He was getting better and better and better and better and better and elevating his game. He was outpacing Jalen Carter by the end of the year and into the Super Bowl. Right now, he had a better year this year, and he missed some games. He was a better ball player. How many people in here believe Jalen Carter was a better ball player this year than Milton Williams was? I mean, if you do, you're lying. By the way, that $26 million, he lived up to it. He lived up to it. I think he completely lived up to that. And then more. As a matter of fact, Carter lived down to it. And Jordan Davis, he should have been doing this shit 2 years ago. You know what everyone is doing right now on Jordan Davis? How many years has he been an Eagle? Kyle, how many years has he been an Eagle? So in a year that they pick up the 5th-year option on him, he decides to show up in shape? Okay. Hey, guys, it takes no athletic ability to be in shape. It just takes want to and desire to want to be in shape and to have your ass ready to rock. I think Clint had a lot to do with that. So wait a minute. Jordan Davis has been in the league 4 years, going into his 5th. It took him 5 years to figure that out? Shit, good for him. Good for him. So in year 4, he shows up. Solid. Like you're on a GI Bill. Hey, don't worry about it. You could spend the first 3 years shitting the bed and playing half the plays and being a first and second down guy. But hey, when your contract, and they don't want to give you a contract extension, and I still think in many ways he's a 2-down player. Milton Williams is a better ball player. And here's why. You can play him anywhere. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think a football player is more valuable if you can play him in multiple spots and get great effort? Or do you think that a guy's more valuable if he's pretty good in one spot, can't play multiple spots in the NFL? Especially when you have a salary cap and especially when you have only 53 guys on a team. What do you think is more important to a guy like Vic Fangio? Versatility, maybe? Being able to move multiple guys around? No, right? Hey, I'm going to tell you this. And let me ask you this, and I thought this morning when this story about Vic potentially retiring. Do you think that Vic took more of an ass on what Howie did by ripping that number 1 unit apart from him? What do you think? Number 1 defense in pro football. You had so many young, talented guys. Sweat. And by the way, if you're Vic and you see that other side underperforming, aren't you pissed off? Wait a minute. They pay my side no money. They pay everyone on that side all the money. And they bring in trash cans for me to try to make chicken shit into chicken soup. And they want me to do that shit again? Really? Take away the big play versus the Rams in 04 division round, and Carter's been average in 3 straight years. Davis has improved. Davis is a good guy I keep. Hey, look, I'm not moving off of Jalen Carter. But Jalen Carter has been, but there's no question, Jordan Davis is going one way, and Carter is staying stagnant, in my opinion. In 21, Jonathan told Nick to step away from play calling and let Shane handle it. In 23, Brian Johnson had Jalen in the MVP race until Nick's decision imploded the season. In 25, Nick got involved, etc. Prince, I'm not telling you that I don't believe that Nick. I don't care what anybody says. I think Nick Sirianni is a decent coach. Exceptional? No. Does he suck? No. I know people that revere the guy, but in a different system. I think he's okay. I don't think he's exceptional. I don't think your quarterback's exceptional. I think your general manager's exceptional. I think the talent on your team is exceptional. You want me to go down exceptional? Here, I'll give you exceptional. Jeff Stoutland's exceptional. Vic Fangio's exceptional. Bobby King's exceptional. Clint Hurt's exceptional. A.J. Brown's exceptional. Mulata, Lane, exceptional. I don't think Landon is right now, and I don't think Cam is. As a matter of fact, I don't think Barkley is right now. I don't think Goddard is. I think Jalen Phillips is really good. I think that Carter is underachieving. I think Davis is a good player. Exceptional? No. Do I think Campbell is good? I think Campbell, for who he is a good ball player. Can he be exceptional? Yes. Is Bond exceptional? Yes. Is Q exceptional? Yes. Is Cooper exceptional? Yes. The rest of these guys, you can have them. I think Jalen Hunt's a really good player. Exceptional? No. You really don't have any exceptional players at the edge. You got one really good one, and you got one that could be a really good one. Other than that, it's not what you think. Do you think your depth is exceptional at D tackle when you got to put a 37-year-old Brandon Graham down inside? That's not exceptional. Do you think you have depth in your offensive line when every guy you drafted a year ago made no impact on your football team whatsoever? That's not exceptional. I mean, you got a lot of decisions to make. And I'm talking about Vic calling it and wanting to retire. He looks at all this. Let me tell you this. For him to consider retiring, you can't think that he thinks he's leaving like the Eagles in a good place. I think he's leaving his defense in a pretty good place. But once again, this is going to depend on what Howie Roseman wants to do. So here, let's go on that side of the ball for Vic. You take Jalen Phillips off that defense, and you take Jacoby off that defense. Okay? How you think you're going to be going into 26? Get this, Marcus. He ain't leaving maybe right now, but he's leaving at the end of the year of next. He's giving you one more year. You think this guy's going to be – he will not be the coordinator in 27. At most, he'll be 26. He's leaving. It's just one day. He's leaving. So let's bring AJ back in the mix. What's he thinking? Well, if you're thinking at the new coordinator, you're laughing. I would demand a trade. A guy who's never called plays and has been a coach for 23 months, 24 months, 25 months. What could he possibly tell A.J. Brown? I mean, honestly. I heard John McMullen say growing pains. So A.J. Brown, at 28 years old, wants to go with an OC with growing pains? What's this? Temple? Does Rex Ryan or McDermott run a similar D? Rex Ryan does. AJ can go, honestly. And who are you replacing him with? Jon Dotson? Who are you replacing him with? This is what Vic's thinking about. Hey, this guy has been a great coach for 5 decades. 5 decades. He's been a great coach. Okay? 5 decades. Get this here. The Cowboys and the Eagles are in completely different and opposite areas on building a team, folks. Let me read this mess. I guess the Cowboys should trade all their top defensive players since they got someone who hasn't called defensive plays. The Cowboys are not a top 10 defense. The Cowboys have not been a number 1 defense. The Cowboys have not been good on defense for 5 or 6 years. They're in the building processes of building their defense up. The Eagles were in the process of having the 10th best defense and the number 1 overall defense. They're in completely polar opposite directions. I mean, dude, the Cowboys were 32nd in defense. 32nd. They're going to build with the young play caller. Guys, has no understanding of football. When you have experienced players, let me ask you something, guys. When you have experienced players on your football team, guys who have been to Super Bowls, do you hire somebody that's never been to coach them? Like Sean Mannion. Is that his name? Okay. Sean Mannion has never been to as a coach in any way, a Super Bowl, right? Never. So let's see how many people on that Eagle offense have been to a Super Bowl. Both tackles. So 2 tackles. Barkley, quarterback's been to multiple Super Bowls. Devontae and AJ been. Guard, center been. Let's see. Tight ends been. Shit, the 13 wide receivers been. I mean, the right guard has even been. So let me get this right. 11 players on offense have been to a Super Bowl. And you hire a guy who's never taken a team to a Super Bowl, let alone only been coaching for 25 months. Make that make sense. What could that guy possibly tell those players? What does he even know how to get there? How does he even know the journey? Those players are so more skilled mentally on how to get to a Super Bowl and prepare for a Super Bowl than that guy will ever be. And you hired that guy to coach them. I mean, then you hired a guy to coach Jeff Stoutland, who's been there since you won the Super Bowl in the first one. I mean, I don't even know how you look the guy in the face when he walks into the building with respect. Okay, so everybody on offense has Super Bowl pedigree, and the only guy that doesn't is your new coordinator. Sure. Yeah. Only an idiot like M. Reyes would find a way to make that work. So every coach, every player on offense has been to a Super Bowl, multiple, except the new 25-month coordinator. How in the world do you even process that? The only way you process that is that Nick is in control of that. And that the guys in the building must know how they go through the process of building a game plan. It goes through Nick's hands first, then it goes through the OC, no matter who it is. If Vic retires and we keep AJ, 10-win cap, 0 margin of error. If Vic retires and we trade AJ, if Vic Fangio retires and you trade AJ, you're a 7-win football team. I've already said this. Tyler. If Lane Johnson retires, Goddard leaves, and AJ goes, you're a 7-win football team. If you add Vic to that, you're in that 7-win football team. I mean, you're not going to make the playoffs. You're not going to be a 500 team. Based on what? And if you lose Jalen Phillips and Jacoby, are you going to overpay for Reed Blankenship? You know what? Vic has to look at that. They're not going to pay Reed Blankenship the money he's going to get in the open market. Somebody will overpay for him. They're going to give him $10 million. And they're not going to give Jalen Phillips $22 million. They may not even give him $21 million. And they're going to let those guys roll. Why would Vic come back to that? Here we are again. We got to go back. We go to like the Team Moose signings again. Okay? Seals. Then the morons in the room are Lori and Howie doing the same thing last year. They blew it up in our face and they want to double down on it. Yeah, well, they're going to double down on it, my friend. They're going to double down on it because they believe that their system works. And, hey, for the record, I've said this. I think they win a lot of games. I don't think they win enough of the big games. You got 2 Super Bowl wins. Let me ask you this. Let's go here. And I didn't even put this down as a topic. In 32 years of owning the team, Jeffrey Lurie has been to 1, 2, 3, 4 Super Bowls. Got 2 wins. In 32 years of owning the team, you think he's over or underachieved? $32 years. Do you think the owner's over or underachieved? 2 Super Bowl wins, 4 appearances. 32 years. He's overachieved. Overachieved? Okay. Underachieved. Under. Overachieved. Okay, so let's take a look at this. 32 years. Well, I think in 32 years, the New York Giants have as many Super Bowl wins as you, don't they? Or is this about getting to the NFC title game, winning playoff games? What's this about? So let's take a look at this here. Last 32. So let's go down the list here. So that's roughly right here on where we are here. Okay. Here we go. Let's go. Actually, 2000. So 2000's 20 what? 6 years? 26 years. Let's go here. See, Baltimore is 1-2. Okay. The Rams have 1-2. Been 3. The Buccaneers have been to 2 and 1-2. Patriots and the Chiefs, that's separate to the side. Giants got 2 wins. Actually, Giants have been there 3 times since 2000 and have won 2. Let's see here. The Eagles have 2 wins. The Broncos have 3 wins since 2000. Back-to-back. And also that 1 win. They got 3. So what do you think? Think Jeffrey Lurie's over or underachieved since 2000? Look at the level of parity in the NFC compared to the AFC. I would say the rosters are better constructed in the NFC top to bottom. Hence, no back-to-back NFC East champions. Yeah, I would say that. I would. The Eagles should have the most Super Bowls in the NFC. Okay? Not so many opportunities down the drain, and they're about to squander more chances. Well, yeah, you go back to the Andy Reid time in the NFC Championship games. You guys put 5 on the table. You're telling me, let me go back to when Jeffrey owned the team then. Eagle fans, how many of those 5 NFC Championship appearances do you think the Eagles, they did it right, brought T.O. back, worked that whole thing? How many Super Bowls do you think Andy Reid left? 2? Should have beat the Bucs, right? You beat the Bucs, you beat the Raiders. That's another Super Bowl. No? The winner of that NFC Championship game that year, the last game at the Vet. Right? Well, here, the reason I asked that question is because they believe the organization and organizations win championships. I don't believe organizations win championships. I think the players on the field do it. Now, look, you have to have smart people putting and making the right moves to hire and get the right coaches. Well, you don't do that all the time. What you've done is bring in really good talent on the field. And for whatever reason, the Eagles don't see that. They think it's their executives making those decisions. So when you have to take the money and you have to calculate the money and you blow towards your defense. How about this? Let's ask this question. If you brought back that entire defense from a year ago, would you be in a Super Bowl right now? If you brought every player from a year ago back, do you think you'd be playing the Patriots in the Super Bowl? I do. Even with that offense that sputtered, I do. How about this one? Do you think you'd be in the NFC title game? All right. If you think this right here, well, Nick, how far do you think you would have gone with if you brought that entire defense? If you brought that entire defense back of a year ago, how far would you think you would have won? You think you would have beat the Niners? Then you think you would have went up maybe to Chicago? Gave Chicago a game? Because you would have went to Chicago, right? You'd have been in the NFC title game. That's funny. Now all of a sudden your wide receivers suck. All of them. Dude, you guys are just way off on A.J. Brown. He ain't dropped a step. I'll tell you what A.J. Brown has dropped. Faith. A.J. Brown has dropped faith in the offense and how they execute and how they construct a game plan. What did you think you got when you hired him? You knew he had a mentality like this. I read you his scouting report. You knew who he was. What'd you think? He just changed his stripes because he was an Eagle? People don't do that, dude. Get this now. And here's the beginning of the end of A.J. Brown. Now you got Eagle fans starting to say A.J. was never that good. A.J. was never that good? Really? The excuses that you make for your guy. No, it was Jalen Hurts that was never that good. A.J. is that good. You think there's any coincidence that some of the greatest running attacks of all time in NFL history were with A.J. Brown being on the team? Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. You think there's any coincidence to that? Probably you do. You probably think that's as much coincidence as Belichick coaching Brady and Lawrence Taylor. I mean, right? Think AJ did fall off 5 to 10%, but had hamstring issues this season. Desire to play hard diminished because of the offense. I think that latter part of it is true. I don't think A.J. Brown is slower. Jalen Hurts has never been good at getting the ball on time to anybody. Seals, to be fair, you've been saying trade A.J. since 23. I've been saying trade A.J. since 23. Actually, yes. Was it 23 or 24? It may have been 23. It may have been. Well, if you're not going to have a prolific offensive attack, why pay a guy $32 million? What's the point? What's the point of having a guy like Max Crosby on your team if your defense is 28th and you're paying him $28 million? What's the point? What, you just got to have a guy on your football team paying him money and you suck anyway? Like that Trey Hendrickson guy. Trey Hendrickson wants like $30 million. Why? The Bengals sucked with you or without you? At least when Myles Garrett was on the field. The Browns had one of the best defenses in pro football. They were second. At least he took care of facts. Trey Hendrickson is a colossal, what's that guy's name? That Kerrigan guy you guys got from Washington? I mean, he's like that guy. That Kerrigan guy. Seals, 4 teams already calling for AJ. Bills, Patriots, Broncos, Raiders. Watch, he gets traded to the Raiders. And you see any wide receivers in the draft. There's a bunch of wide receivers in the draft, but hey, don't go to sleep on the Chargers bringing him in. Chargers got money, and they're interested. Come. Career highs is just that, career highs. That means nothing. Bums had career highs. Yeah, most of the time on bad teams. When you have a career high in a good football team, the Eagles wide receivers, A.J. Brown had career years and a good season. They went to the Super Bowl 22 with him. He had 1,500 yards. Show on the 49ers last night. Montana spoke about Bill Walsh. Ball on time, 4-inch margin of error. Yeah. I used to get Coach Walsh on my show when I was out in San Francisco. And I'll tell you what he educated me on the quarterback position. I used to be just like everybody. You know how you can always tell when you got an idiot like M. Reyes in here? Guy throws a great deep ball. Right then and there, anytime anybody tells you that, always just dismiss it. Because he doesn't know, they don't know what they're talking about. Because I used to say that. Bill Walsh went like this. He goes, you don't know what you're looking at. You could tell a quarterback and how good a quarterback is by his feet. His feet are the processing machine that allows him to process because he gets back in his steps. He sees the field. He has time to process. The faster you get back, and when you rotate your hips, he showed me the whole formula on how to throw the football. He goes, playing quarterback's in your hips and in your feet. It's not in your arm. The arm is one of the most overrated things in football. You can always develop that. You can't develop bad feet. I don't really think Jalen's got great feet. I think that's why he struggles in the pocket. Because I don't believe he's got good mechanics. I would say the Eagles have underachieved by the NFL standards. They have overachieved in 32-year period. Only 4 other teams have done more in the amount of time, and only 2 since 2000. Chiefs, the Giants, the Rams have been to 3 Super Bowls since 2000. Have they not? Maybe 2. Let's see. Golf, Stafford. So I think maybe 2. I think that other one was in St. Louis. I think it was in the late 90s. Drew Brees had some of the best feet I've ever seen. That's right. That's why he could overcompensate for a little bit for his height. He used to jump, twist left and right while looking at his progressions. Mikey, one of the other things he did that he told me was he would drop back 9 yards instead of 7 so he could see over his O-line. And it gave him a better, and he would move around a little more in the pocket to create passing lanes. Jim will always make that big throw when you need it most. I don't believe that. I think the NFL's caught him like they did Wentz. I don't think what else is Jalen Hurts going to show you in the next couple of years? You think that he has in his toolbox? I think that's a great question. If you're a coordinator, what does Jalen still have to show us that he's going to get better at? What is he going to show us? Arm strength? Progression? What? Processing? Well, he don't want it anymore. Yeah, right. Right, John. He's not going to improve in his passing game. His scramble ability? Okay, maybe. I might agree with that. Hurts has to show consistent play Well, do you think since 22 he showed consistent play? Even in the Super Bowl year? As I listen, I've showed you this. And this is what Vic is putting into his processing of whether or not he's coming back. Okay? Seals, had a debate in the barbershop the other day. Was Tarkenton the best scrambling quarterback? Yeah, because he won more than Vic. Because he was able to throw. He threw for 47,000 yards. Yes. Name me another quarterback who scrambled as much as Tarkenton did that threw for over 45,000 yards. He was not better than Steve Young was not better than Tarkenton. Not at the end of the day. Tarkenton played almost 20 years. Young was on a better team. Lamar's the best? Well, Lamar may be the most talented, but we'll see what kind of career. He'll never throw for 45,000, 47,000 yards. When Fran Tarkenton retired, he retired the all-time leading passer. As much as Elway did move around a lot early in his career, he didn't really later. Okay? He didn't. Yeah, when Fran retired, he retired the all-time touchdown guy, and he also retired the all-time passing leader. Here, I want to do it one last time. We'll probably do it more times. This was 2020. And I'll say it again. I asked the question, do you think that Jalen Hurts is going to improve in any way moving forward? And a new coordinator like Sean Mannion is going to come in and he's going to develop. And here we are going into, what is it now? He came to the Eagles in 2020. So this is 7 years. Am I right? This is the 7th year. Okay, let's take a look. Has issues sustaining rhythm as a passer with so many off-scheduled throws. Same as today. Inconsistent patience, allowing routes to develop. Same as today. Slow recognition of early throw opportunities. Same as today. Leaves slants and crossing patterns behind in targets. He's behind in his throw. Still today. Misses checkdowns and opts for the harder throw. That's why he throws to the sidelines. Deep arm dip and to an elongating release. I think he's improved on that. For speedsters at OU and Alabama to slow to keep up with his throw. Still to this day, Devontae and AJ making exceptional catches. Needs to be better at trusting his pocket. Never improved there. Quick to drop his eyes. Never improved there. I mean, he's never and hasn't been coached in any of those areas except with his rotation on throwing and getting away from that elongated pass. He's still the same guy. He came out in 20. Where are you seeing improvement? Where do you think a guy who's 23 years old or whatever, how old he is, 33? Do you think he's going to come in here and prove that? And if you're Vic, you're on the other side of this going, you brought a 33-year-old coordinator in? Really? You brought a 33-year-old guy in. I mean, Vic Fangio's been a coach for 5 decades. Walsh always said, be drafting a quarterback, it's always in the feet and hips, just like boxers. Correct. That's exactly what he said. He's like, you look at his arm, huh? Nice big arm, right? I go, yeah. And he goes, dude, it's in the feet and hips. Because it's not coachable. Saban, Kellen, Shane would have did it. Jalen's solution is to avoid a 10% sack rate was to leave a good pocket, roll right, throw it away. That's not a bad play to throw it away. But that creates third downs and creates 3 and outs. So let's go back. Circle back to Vic here. Is it the front office or his age? And I wrote this down here. It's got to be this too a little bit. So if you're Vic and you're watching all these bullshit hires on offense and Nick's influence on that side, don't you think that takes its toll? I mean, you brought in Kellen. Kellen never ran his offense. He ran Nick's risk-averse thing, and Barkley just happened to hit Pater with that running attack. The O-line was healthy. They were killing it in the O-line. Dude, you were so one-dimensional. And Kellen went, fuck it, hand it off. Let's go. That's what they did. Do you know how many people used to tell me, well, Sills, would you just start throwing it to throw it? No. You would have lost games. If you would have had a balanced offense in 2024, you'd have lost games. You didn't have to have a balanced offense. They couldn't afford it. They tried it in the first 4 games to be balanced. What happened? You had 26 turnovers in 23 games. Think about that. Hey, Kyle, do me a favor. Do me a favor. How many turnovers did Hurts have in 24 in the first 4 games? I want to show you something just to bring that point home. Let's see here. So, let's see here. He had 15 turnovers, 15 INTs. Is that right? 15 INTs. And let's see. Where did he? Here we go. He had 15 INTs in 23, right? 2023. He had 15. I think he had 6 fumble losses too. Let's see here. Fumbles. I think he had 6 that season. Oh, he had 9. So he had 24 in how many games? And 17 games. So how many, Kyle, how many in the first 4 did he have? 4 interceptions, 3 fumbles. That's 7. Okay. That guy in 21 games, he had 31 turnovers when you were throwing the ball. He had 31 turnovers, 21 games. That's why they went to run the ball. That's why they went to run the ball. And so what's Sean Mannion going to do? Increase the volume? Well, you're going to be back in the boat again. You're going to be turning the football over. Ask Vic. So Vic's defense has got to carry the mail then. Correct? Right? Got to carry the mail. 2022, Jalen. By the way, Gary Cobb will join us at 4:30. Xander's going to join us in a couple minutes. That's nothing new. No, it's not. But if you're expecting this new offensive coordinator to roll in here and create what? A passing attack? Dude, their number one objective is to get the run game going again. Not to get Jalen Hurts going. This whole week, I said something over the weekend. You've got a Sirianni kind of problem here. Nick wants it done one way because the quarterback can only do it one way. That's why you brought in a guy with no experience, because there's no pushback. A good coordinator would come in here and go, we have to have some balance. The quarterback is not capable of giving you balance on a week-to-week game, which means what? Your defense is going to be put in bad field position. And if you lose all those other players, this old man's got to put this shit together again. And it's a conveyor belt of, like, all right, we're going to do this again. Yes, I did. Every time Jalen is tasked with pro quarterback responsibility, he crumbles. I just think he can't do it. A good OC or experienced one would bench or walk away from him. Well, the coordinators did walk away from it. They don't want the job, and they don't want the responsibilities. Maybe this is what's leading to this. Here, let me tell you what I'd be doing if I was Vic right now, thinking about whether or not to retire. Do I want to go out on top? Are the Eagles in a position to win a Super Bowl this coming year? I think that's questionable. Like here, if I was going to rank, now look, this could obviously change because of free agency. I would say this. Let me go here. Coming back, I'd put these teams. Seattle. Put the Rams. Depending on Stafford. I'd put Chicago. I'd put San Francisco. Get Warner back. Get Bosa back. You bet. I put I don't believe the Cowboys can catch you. I believe the Packers will be better with Micah. I think you're better than Tampa. Will you be better? I think you and Detroit are in the same boat. So at 6, I'll go tie. Detroit and Philly. Yeah, Seattle, Rams, Chicago. San Francisco's getting their horses back. And Green Bay getting Parsons back. There's 5 teams. Maybe Detroit ahead of you right now, especially if you lose AJ, Vic, Goddard, and Lane. You got to hope all that goes like this. Lane comes back. What version of Lane, too? AJ, why would AJ want to come back to a guy who's never called plays? There's no way he wants to be here with that. What are you selling him? All right, he wants out. Okay. He's probably saying this. Great. I got my ring. I got 2 NFC championship rings in a Super Bowl. This guy's already got more silverware than what T.O. has. Terrell Owens and Randy Moss don't have the silverware he has. As a team player, he's already more accomplished. I like the fact that Raheem Morris is now the D coordinator. Also in San Francisco, I think that's a big deal. I think the Panthers still have to get some offensive players this coming offseason here. I think that they're a physical football team. I don't think you'll understand what under contract means. I don't think you. Hey, let me hook you up on here, Kibo. Contracts are like hearts. They're made to be broken. Okay? They're made to be broken, kid. T.O. is on a different planet than AJ. Yeah. I think AJ is a great player. He's not Terrell Owens. Did Dan make a Super Bowl pick yet? No, not yet. I'll talk about the game soon. I did not. Why would I trade Crosby for AJ? I mean, if I'm going to trade Crosby to AJ, you're going to have to give me AJ and a pick for Crosby. Now, maybe the money will offset that because Crosby's $28 million, but AJ's making $30 million. You're going to have to give me more. AJ's not enough for Crosby. If you want Max Crosby, you're going to have to give me AJ and a fourth, maybe a third because of the money. Now, it's offset because the contracts are pretty compatible. Crosby's a better player than A.J. Brown right now. Now, A.J.'s a more valued player, though. I don't think you have to spend a ton of money on edge rushers to win a Super Bowl. I don't agree with that. If I'm going to spend a ton of money on a position, corner, defensive tackle, offensive tackles, my quarterback, and maybe my wide receiver. Outside of that, those are my premium positions. By quarterback, one. Now, Sam Darnold's changing that for me. I think one of the things that this Super Bowl has done for me, you don't have to be elite to get to the game. So why would I pay elite prices for the quarterback? Look at the two quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. Drake May's on a rookie deal. He hasn't wowed anybody over in the playoffs. We like the kid. But as he played well, he's throwing at 55% completion percentage. He's not been very good. Now, the weather played a factor. But Sam Darnold is making $37 million. He's making almost half of what Dak makes. He makes about $13 million less than what Jalen makes. And he's going to go play for a Super Bowl. He may hoist the Lombardi Trophy. Why would I spend money moving forward on a quarterback? The best player on that offense is JSN. JSN is the guy that's making Darnold. Darnold's still a turnover guy. Look at his turnovers this year. I saw him in a game against the Rams and won when they went to SoFi. He had 4 picks. Their defense was great. Darnold threw the ball over. Remember, when Darnold came out of Southern Cal, he turned the ball over. I think he had 12 his last year there or something. So, Seals, you're saying our quarterback is average, can't fix it. Fix what? What are you fixing? He wins. He's who he is. Jalen Hurts is not going anywhere except this. He'll see the game better. He'll be smarter. His decision-making, I think, will continue to improve. But as a talent, no. How? I mean, Jesus criminy, guys. You got Dallas Goedert and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and you haven't improved the offense in 3 years in the passing game. What do you think a new guy's going to do? I mean, what do you think? You're going to have an out-of-body experience? What do you think? He's got the skills? This is about skill set. His knowledge is going to continue to get, the more and more you see shit, the more and more you're going to get better at it. I never said he stunk. He's who he is. Says your thoughts on Paul George, a 25-game suspension. That guy has been an ass hat for the last 8 years of his career. I mean, I don't get the guy. I mean, Daryl Morey, too. Daryl Morey wants to try to make a move for Giannis. For what? Why in God's name would Giannis not want to go to Golden State? Why would he want to go to Philly? Now, if you got rid of Embiid, which I doubt, that's another conversation. And the East is wide open. So is this year an outlier year with lesser teams and quarterbacks making it deeper into the playoffs? No. Let me ask you something. In the last 3 years, okay? In the last 3 years, you've had a 7th-round draft choice and Brock Purdy go to a Super Bowl. You had a 2nd-rounder and Jalen Hurts go to a Super Bowl. This year, you've got a quarterback that was fired 5 times, called the bus 5 times, going to the Super Bowl. Why are you paying $50 million? I'd rather build my team like the Eagles do. Give me the roster over an elite guy. Hey, Buffalo's got the elite quarterback and the subpar roster. How's that working? How's that working? How's that working for him? How's that? How's that working for Buffalo? To some extent, how's that working for Baltimore? I like Maxey. The Eagles have nothing to lose if they bench Hurts. Dude, you're not benching the quarterbacks. Please stop that conversation, my friend John. You're not doing anything in that conversation until after the 27 season. Until then, that is a non-starter for me. I mean, if Jalen Hurts lays an egg in 26, at the end of that year, they'll begin the process of moving off of him after 27, and they'll bench him in the 27 year. They are not going to bench the quarterback until after the 26 season, until they're dead sure if the quarterback is going to continue to get better. I told you from day one, Jalen Hurts was never going to have a long stay here. This is going to be like a 9-year deal. Tops. Now, go back. Okay? Go back. Look at this here. Hurts will never be benched. Wentz was. And Wentz was making $32 million or $30 million. That's like saying Doug Peterson would never be fired. Hurts will never be benched, and Doug Peterson would never be fired. Yeah, okay. Sills, what's the scouting report on Drake May and Sam Darnold? Have they improved? Darnold is still the same guy, believe it or not, if you read his scouting report. I know we're not talking about Stoutland, but I think he retires after they find Lane Johnson's replacement. I'll tell you this. 2 guys I'm not anxious to have that conversation with, Jeff Stoutland. And by the way, this conversation that people are having with Jeff Stoutland and demoting Jeff Stoutland, wait a minute. So you demote Jeff Stoutland and you hire a 24-month coach. Man, I'm sorry. If I'm at battle with somebody and you give me a guy fresh out of West Point, and I'm not in the battlefield with a guy who's been used to taking strays and used to taking ammunition on, I'm not in that huddle with you, bro. I want to be in there with somebody that's taking fire, a guy that understands how to assess his opponent. I want people that know if your opponent's superior to you, how you're going to adjust. I want to know all that shit. How could you possibly get this? So let me one more time on this here before we bring Xander in. Now I want to pay a glorified running back or quarterback who won't run. How about this? So every single player on your team in 26 has got Super Bowl experience, and the only person that doesn't have Super Bowl experience is your new coordinator. Is that right? Okay. Look, this guy may turn out to be the next whatever. But right now, I don't know who the fuck he is. And then as for Vic, so how come I keep hearing exits? AJ may be traded. Lane may be retiring. Are you guys at the back end of your run here? This is how this is like what the Kansas City was talking about. Kelsey getting old. Moving on from Tyreek Hill. Moving on from Orlando Brown. Not having the same type of run game with Pacheco. Doesn't this sound like you're running it down, not up? You think you're amping your team up or down? Lane may retire. Vic may retire. Goddard we're moving off of. AJ we may be trading. Does that sound like you're ramping up? Or maintaining? Or does that sound like you're ramping down? I mean, hey, I don't want to give you an opinion on that. I'm just going by what you're doing. I haven't even talked about Super Bowl 60 yet. I mean, this Vic. Hey, so let me. So Vic's still deciding whether or not to retire or not. Like Hugh Douglas said to me, dude, you're either in or you're not in. Hey, should I jump off the deep end? Should I jump off the cliff or should I not? Well, I don't know. Well, then shit, you better not, kid, because I'm thinking you're not going to land right. Don't you have to have conviction in everything you do? I would think. But what the hell do I know? Not very much. This is something else. I keep telling them, hey, we're going to be great in 26. I'm like, based on what? Oh, my God, if Vic Fangio retires. Woo! Hey, let's go see if we can get Jim Schwartz. Yeah, no. All right. Hey, I want this kid to make me feel better. I do. Let me say, I got to get Xander to make me feel better here. Without further ado, let's bring our boy in. Big J, Xander Krause. Come on here, man.
What's up, Sills? You got the wrong guy for that one, my friend. You got the wrong guy.
Oh, shit, man. All right, give me your takeaway on this. Where are we right now? Have you heard anything? Or where are we on this potential Vic Fangio retiring?
So I think Vic will be back for this year, but that's a hard think. It's not confirmed yet. But, the Eagles have kind of convinced him to try and come back. But you're right. I mean, this is a 67, 60-year-old dude. That thing could change at any second. I think you're going to get Vic back this year. The question will be, or at least it will feel like to me, it's a retirement ceremony this year for Vic. He's not going to be back longer than this year, which does change, I think, the perception of the Super Bowl window when you talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. But I think he's going to be back this year. They're talking. They talked to Gannon apparently. They talked to Jim Schwartz. To fill in. So, and the way Kemsky wrote it, it sounds like they talked him off the ledge, if you will, the hypothetical ledge. So, they need Vic. So it's gonna be tough if he walks out the door.
It's not that he's not going to retire. It's just when. It's either now or it's going to be a year from now.
I think it's a year from now, no matter what. But it could be now. I think, what did John say percent was?
80.
80, he'd be back? Yeah, I'd probably feel more like 70 for me. Maybe even like 65.
I'll give you a little bit of what went on in Miami. When Clint Hurt went down there to interview for that job, he said he needed a week to give you a answer on what he could. And Jeff Hafley, the brand new head coach, said, I want to get our staff in right now. And that's why they went in a different direction. So I'm thinking that Clint was told that he's going to be the next guy in Philly if Vic does end up calling it. So I'm thinking, and that's how he's thinking. I haven't spoken, and I've sent him numerous texts, and I haven't heard anything back.
Yeah, he's probably going radio silent right now because
that's right. That's what I'm thinking. And I asked Jason Taylor how that interview went. He goes, "Hey, look, they were really kind of close, and he was going to bring me in as a defensive line coach, and all of a sudden, he went and said, I need a week." So I think what the Eagles did was they paused on Clint. And I think there's a promissory note here in the future that Clint's going to be highly considered. So I heard John say something to you today, and I want to ask you. So the Eagles would never have, in John's words, now, again, John's got an opinion on it, and I respect it. He said that they would never have considered Christian Parker as the coordinator, somebody with no experience. Well, shit, man. You just hired a guy on the other side of the ball that's got zero experience and no coaching experience.
Yeah, right.
Make that make sense to me.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
You think you're trending up right now as an organization?
No, I think we're teetering right now. I think we have an opportunity to go up. But I think we have more shit to fix right now than it feels like we've had for the last couple years. Like even after 23, I mean, they didn't make that many sweeping changes. I mean, most of the roster returned. They let a bunch of guys walk. Who'd they sign in free agency? They signed Bryce Huff in free agency. Saquon Barkley obviously was a big signing. I mean, I'm not going to delegitimize that, but it didn't feel like defensively or anything they made that many drastic changes. So it feels like there's more to fix right now, Sills. But no, I don't think we're on the descent yet. I really don't. I just don't think that team is I think they're closer, I think teetering is the right word. I think they're closer to it than it felt like they were in years past, but I don't think they're on the descent yet.
How about this? Do you think there's more question marks going into this offseason than any other offseason in Nick Sirianni's time as head coach? Or uncertainty?
Maybe amongst the fan base, yeah. But it doesn't feel like that's true amongst the ownership.
Do you think they know if Lane's retiring or not?
I think they know.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they know.
Do you think they know if they're bringing Goddard back?
No.
Huh. Okay.
I think that's
because you think that's got to do with maybe how AJ's deal works out.
No, I think it's a market test. If Goddard gets $14 million in the open market, goodbye and good riddance. But if he's getting $10 million offers, maybe the Eagles are in play.
If I'm A.J. Brown and a guy who's been a coach for 24 months, how you feeling about that hire?
Can't feel great, right? Unless he knows something. I mean, look, there is a weird thing in the NFL. Like, dudes get reputations, and sometimes that permeates across the league. Yep. So maybe AJ's heard good things. You know what I mean? They're buddies. Maybe he's friends with a Green Bay guy, a Green Bay receiver. I don't know. It depends who his relationships are. But I'd like to think that he's not upset by it.
Open.
Yeah, I think he's open to it. I mean, this guy came from, McVay. He came from these West Coast offenses. So maybe AJ thinks that there's an opportunity. But again, I don't think that AJ's problem was with the coordinator. I really don't. I think there's a much better chance it's with the Sirianni philosophy, one, and then two would be Jalen. Those would be my top two. And it could be either one. It could be both. It could be neither. Could be one or the other. I don't know. But I think those would come before the coordinator for A.J. Brown, honestly. I mean, did he have a problem with Kellen Moore too? Because remember, he was not happy during the Kellen Moore year either.
Absolutely was not happy. The quarterback got 2,900 yards.
I think the Kevin Patullo, A.J. Brown hates Kevin Patullo narrative is not true.
You're on to something, bro. I'm going to tell you what you're on to.
I'm always on to something, Sills. I'm always on to something, brother.
Hey, I'm going to tell you what I think you were on. So today, when you were talking to John about that, you went like this. Sounds like to me they hired 88 different offensive coordinators. And they're going to do this thing by committee. And I'm like, he's right. And John
did not like that one, did he?
No, he didn't. And I went like this. I said, well, how many offensive coordinators do you now have on the staff? Ready? Kevin Patullo is a former offensive coordinator now, correct? Nick Sirianni's a former offensive coordinator, right? Sean Mannion's your brand new offensive coordinator, right? I mean, dude, you got three dudes in the building right now that at one time had called plays. Yeah. How's that not by committee?
It's true. It's beyond true.
And one guy's never, and he's the head guy.
All right, let's give it like a little what's that game where you pick something and you got to act it out. Let's act it out here. You get in the office. You have here is Julie and Lori. All right, picks up the phone. Phone's down. Who does he phone down to? He phones down to Nick Sirianni. Okay, Nick picks it up. Okay, got it. Nick then phones into Kevin Patullo in the back and Josh Grizzard, the passing coordinator. These guys are ultimately the pipelines to tell Sean Mannion to call a trash offense. Who knows, man? I really don't know. I do think the by committee approach is something to keep an eye on.
Oh, it is, because look, KP's called plays, Nick's called plays, Josh Grizzard's called plays. Gee, if you were going like this, which one doesn't fit? Or take one of these guys out as offensive coordinators.
Right.
Sean Mannion, Josh Grizzard, Nick Sirianni, or Kevin Patullo. I'd take the guy you just hired. He's never called a fucking play. I mean, you got 4 offensive coordinators on your staff right now. How do you not think that's not by committee?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, it's why I brought it up. Me and John got into a nice morning, nothing like a nice 8:20 a.m. morning debate on Monday on Birds 365. You know, he didn't like the words I used. It is what it is. I agree with you, though. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. You know, and look, I've defended Nick on this show many a times, as anybody who listens to this segment every day knows. But, you know, I'm not going to turn a blind eye to some trends. And the trend is he struggles to make adjustments when things are falling, you know, off the rails. He seems to struggle with adjusting. And right now, is this his plan for adjustment? It's fair to look at that and say, I don't know if this is a good plan, you know? So we'll see. We'll see. Now, if Nick comes out and wins 13 games next year, I don't want to hear shit from you, from Prince, from Theo, from Kyle. I don't want to hear shit from anybody. All right?
What this guy turned Hurts into an MVP, and he's got 4,800 yards.
Hurts is killing it at the Pro Bowl. This is what I like about Jalen. He's a stud. He's down there signing autographs for all the kids, dude. He's grabbing phones, taking videos, doing it for the people. I like a man of the people, Sileo. Maybe this season was a nice. You're no longer at the Jordan HQ. You know, you got to reconnect with the fans. Maybe that's a part of what Jalen's got going on down at the Pro Bowl right now, Sills.
So you think there's not gonna be any like yacht journeys with Jordan this year? It's got to be more, you know, back to, you know, grassroots and building it up again here, not going on the yacht in the Riviera with MJ. I got it. All right.
I don't know, man. The yacht might be coming. That might be more of like a March, April, May activity. That might not be for this time of the year. Who knows, man? We'll find out. We will see what ends up happening. But I do like players that do that stuff.
Yeah, me too. I do too.
Yeah, I like that. So
I do too.
Shout out to Jalen for doing it.
Yeah. How do you think Laurie's thinking about this? What do you think he's thinking?
I think Laurie has his, you know, I think it was you that said this right away from Jump Street. And John, I think, was on it pretty early too. And just that it looks like they're really putting this on Nick. Oh, yeah. You know, the whole thing. And Nick's either going to sink or swim, but I think that tells you what Laurie thinks. You know, Laurie's going to say, you've done enough for me to have to let you figure this out. But you got one chance left to figure this out. And if you don't figure it out, I have no problem firing you. So I think he'll fire him if it doesn't go well this year. Where I don't think is, and I think people are wrong about this, me and you could sit up here and debate about Jalen. We can fight with people in the chat. We can argue with Prince and everybody and whatever. I don't think the owner dislikes Jalen at all.
Oh, no way.
I think the owner has a little bit of a bubble around Jalen. And, you know, partly because of what I just mentioned at the Pro Bowl. Great representative for the organization.
What's the resume?
Know? Exactly right. So I don't think the owner, I think it would be Nick would be fired next year. And then they would probably try and redo it, you know,
So Vic Fangio is looking at his side of the ball. How do you think that defense look if there's no Jalen Phillips or no Nakobe Dean?
Yeah, well, you know, PFF has Jahad Campbell as the breakout candidate of the year. So
I find that.
Well, I don't either. I think they're right, but that's all predicated on the fact that people don't think Nakobe Dean's going to be here this year. I mean, speaking of PFF, did you see that the contract that they had for projected. It matched the Bond contract a year ago. 3 years, $51 million.
There's no shot in hell they're going to sign
Now, I
him.
want to say something on Nakobe Dean.
No way they sign him for that money.
I want to say something on Nakobe Dean. I understand the injuries. I understand you drafted Jahad Campbell in round 1. I understand you paid Zach Bond, okay, like a top linebacker. With the recent news and the developments of Vic Fangio's career, if you assume that you only have 1 year left of Vic Fangio, and we'll be lucky to get that year because he could walk away, but I think we will get that 1 year. Assume you have 1 year left. Is Nakobe Dean really the guy that you want to leave the locker room when you look at the kind of player that makes up the fabric of a defense? There's a coach and the philosophy of a coach, and then there's the on-field implementation of what that coach is teaching. And if you don't have the agents or the avenues to deliver that message and that philosophy across your starting 11 with the right vessels, for lack of a better word, you're going to struggle. So if I'm the Eagles, I look at Nakobe Dean, and I'm going to say something crazy that I know 90% of people listening will not agree with. And I'm not even saying to do it, but I would be thinking about it. Does trading Zach Bond and paying Nakobe Dean make sense for the 3 to 5 year vision of the Philadelphia Eagles? Zach Bond's 30 years old. Linebackers don't typically play all that long. There's some instances. And
I'm looking at something up while you're saying this.
Like, I think Nakobe Dean, now I get it. You're not going to pay Bond, pay Nakobe, and draft the first rounder with Jahad Campbell.
Why you went back to back with D tackles?
Yeah, the Eagles value D tackles.
Yep.
All right. Okay. They don't traditionally value linebackers. So I understand what I just said is way out on a ledge. I'm just saying, it's kind of a Bill Belichickian approach where player hits 30 years old, give me the young guy. Now, the problem there is Nakobe's got major injury concerns, man. But Nakobe would be your Mike. Jahad could be your Will.
Okay. So just to put this all in proper perspective, Zach Bond has missed 1 game.
True.
2 games. He's missed 2 games in the last 2 years. He's missed 2 games. One of those, I think they sat his ass. They may have sat him in both of them, in both those games. Nakobe Dean, in the last 3 years, has missed 24 of 51 ball games available. Dude, it's half your.
That's the hardest part about what I just said.
That's half of your playing time. I mean,
Bond's still a little young, dude. I thought he was 30. He's 29. He'll be 29 for most of the year next year.
And he's reliable.
Yeah.
Okay.
I understand it's out there.
How do you feel about the kid behind him, Trotter Jr.? My point, the Trotter Jr. conversation is more important now because if I do move off of that guy, do I feel that if I have an injury in my linebacking core, do I feel like I'm in as good a shape if Nakobe's not there? Because look where the backups are now. If it's Dean and Bond, if Dean goes out, Campbell goes in, right? That's a really great backup.
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
next year it's going to be Campbell. It's going to be Bond and Campbell next year.
Bond and Campbell. Who's your backup? Yeah. Trotter? That might be a drop-off. That's a drop-off, maybe.
It's a drop, especially because Trotter's a Mike. I mean, if Jahad Campbell goes down, well, you'll probably put Trotter at Mike and then move Bond to Will.
Yeah.
That's probably what you'll end up doing.
But see, that's a downgrade like it was at corner when you went off of Isaiah Rodgers and Slay, right? You went from Isaiah Rodgers to Slay to Keely Ringo into Adoree Jackson. That's the shit Vic's looking at right now. How much do you think that played a factor on how he blowtorching that defense last year that he built up to a number 1, and all of a sudden he saw what went on in the offseason, and he sees maybe that you lose Phillips and you might lose Nakobe, who he really likes, who he gave the green dot to? How much do you think he's like this? Jesus criminy. They hired a 23-year-old guy on offense, and all they expect us to do over here is take these guys like Adoree Jackson, this guy Jacorian Bennett, and for us to go over here and make chicken shit into chicken soup.
Yeah.
I mean, how much do you think that plays into it?
I think it plays into it a lot. I do. I'm looking at the rankings. I mean, I don't know. I'll pull them up here. I know some people are indifferent on this source, but it is, it's a reference point.
Yeah, PFF.
Yeah, it's a reference point. I'll show everybody what I'm looking at here.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm looking at defensive grades here, 2025. I went to 20% of the snap, at least 80% of the snaps. So if you look at the linebacker grades, like Vaughn is still number 6, 80 grade.
That's exceptional.
Lower in tackling this year, lower in run defense this year. But, I mean, he's up here with Demario Davis, Devin Lloyd, Jack Campbell, and Fred Warner, Bobby Wagner. I mean, these are the best linebackers in football. So if you go down here a little bit, there you're going to see Nakobe Dean at 45. So I love Nakobe, but that's too much of a risk with injury and even the
and the
money, talent of the player. That's a no-go.
Where's Campbell?
Right here, 14. But he had lesser snaps. I mean,
Plus, they put him at edge a few times.
He had 717 snaps, but I think some of them are probably special teams. And
but I think also, remember, he had a high load of snaps early until Dean came back at, what's that, week 8?
Yeah, and Dean had 462 snaps.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, Nakobe's a really good player. He's a guy you want on your football team. Hell, he's a guy you want to have date your kid. He seems like a really nice guy. However, business comes into it. When I see the number 24 games you've missed in 51 attempts, I'm sorry, man. I can't build.
What I like about Dean, and there's something that I see with Dean that some players have, like this factor that most players don't have, and it's not about talent. It's about, I look at Nakobe as a bigger than just player for the organization. A guy that will carry the torch, a guy that will, lead the Wolves in a battle, if you will. That's kind of how I view him. I mean, I remember this video that came out. I don't know if it was this past summer when he was still injured, and he's on the sideline, and he's watching the game or the practice, and he's so locked in. He's got emotion coming out of his face. It's like he's playing. That's how much he was into the practice. And not everybody's like that. I just think he's got this element that you want to be the backbone of your organization. I get the business comes into it, though. He'll probably be gone. But whoever gets him, I think, is getting a good one. I really do, if he stays healthy.
I already put it out there on the air in Tampa. I'd like to see him replace Levante David.
I hope Dallas doesn't sign him. Do they need a linebacker?
I think so.
Yeah, they just traded a 7th-round pick for Logan Wilson.
Yeah,
they can use a linebacker.
I think Minnesota needs one. I know the Dolphins do.
Speaking of Minnesota, did you see what they did to Brian Flores?
Yeah, did you see they finally came out and they went like this? They fired the entire analytics department, and they fired.
No, I'm talking about the coordinator as it relates to Vic Fangio.
I'm sorry?
Vic Fangio is the highest.
I thought they fired the GM.
Yeah. I'm not talking about that. But we will talk about that in a second. I'm talking about this. Vic Fangio was the highest paid coordinator in football last year.
Yes. Okay.
The Minnesota Vikings just redid Brian Flores' contract and made him the highest coordinator in football by multiple millions. It was 4.5. It's up to 6.5 now.
Because he was going to take the Washington gig, or there was another gig I thought that he interviewed for that he was going to take the job. I know that Tampa wanted to talk to him, so I would think that that's got to be in excess of $7 million.
Yeah, it's 6.5 for Flores.
Okay.
6.5. So think about it. Is Vic Fangio gonna become a factor? I don't think so. I think Lurie will pay him whatever he wants, but $3 million jump on your DC.
Hey, I really don't want to do this anymore. How about if we pay you 7.5? You know what? I guess so. I could do it one more year for 7.5. I'm good. Hey, do you think all this bullshit comes down to his age? Or do you think this more so is that it's the front office on what's driving?
No, I think it's his age.
It's age?
Yeah. He wanted to hang him up last year.
I heard.
I remember there was the story that came out when they were walking around the locker room as champions after the Super Bowl. And he kind of was saying to some of his defensive staff, it's been great working with you. So,
Oh, Jesus. I didn't hear that last year.
yeah,
Okay.
that was a thing.
I didn't know that.
Now,
I thought Stoutland was closer to retiring than he was.
Well, Stoutland is younger, but that doesn't always matter. I mean,
No.
yeah, but no, that happened. So Vic this isn't new to this year. This isn't because of the crazy year. It's not because of the way they blow. It's not because of any of those things. It's not.
I can't wait to see what this new. Do you expect?
Dude, he's a Philly guy. He might live in Philly when he retires. He loves the local deli down on Penrose.
Yeah, he's not leaving.
Penrose Diner, not the deli, the diner.
He's not leaving, dude. Dude, he started his career here with the Stars.
Yeah.
And he's not leaving the USFL.
I could see him living in Philly, literally.
That's not, well, he probably enjoys the environment. That's why he didn't enjoy being down in South Florida. So have you had time to process this, dude? I talked about this guy in the weekend, and I was like, oh, by the way, Craig Carton loves Jalen Hurts. He loves Jalen Hurts. He's a Jalenite. He goes, you don't. I said, that's not that I don't like the guy. That's not what I said. He goes, you're a hater. I go, I'm not a fucking hater. That's not what I am.
Carton, now you know what Carton's doing? Carton knows business, and he knows how to get the Eagles fans, which are a rabid fan base on his side for the national program.
But he does believe the Eagles have a Nick Sirianni problem.
Of course.
He goes like this. He goes, I know you're on board with me here. I said, yeah, but you know what? You have to give this guy credit for.
Oh, so I'm winning you over because you've been bashing.
Well, a little bit here, and I'll tell you how. He recognized the quarterback has got stiff tendencies. So what he does, is he looks at that's why he's constantly kissing Howie's ass. And so he's like, look, we got great talent. Thank you, Howie, very much for continuing the talent in light of what I got to deal with over here. And so, there's a part of me that now does this. Well, he looks at the guy and he knows he's limited here. That's why he doesn't bring in a guy who's an experienced coordinator, because I can control this guy and I can control Jalen and I can control the narrative. This is why that there's no experienced coordinator in your building. I mean, dude, you hired the least experienced guy you possibly could have hired. I mean, your St. Joe's prep coordinator has more experience in calling plays than this guy does. Yeah, but here's my new favorite one. As soon as he played the position, hey, okay.
Yeah, I kind of like this kid. I'm not going to lie. But the problem with Mannion is I don't think the setup for him is good here. No. Like I said this last week or on Friday. If he got hired to a team that wasn't in, win now mode with expectations, I think he would develop perfectly. But because he's in Philly, you got 1 year to win, or else, your owner's good. The owner will fire you. He won't even think. He won't care. He'll fire you. I think it's a tough setup for him, but I do like him. I think he's got a good future in the league. We'll find out if I'm right or wrong.
So we went 18 days looking for a coordinator. How long do you think this little saga with Vic goes on? You think we'll know by the middle? It's
already done.
You think they'll make it public?
No, I think it's already done. And then I think Vic strikes me as the kind of guy that's not going to, I used the word teetering earlier. I'll stick with it. Teeter-totter. Like, once he says to you, all right, I'm coming back, I feel like he's going to come back. If he says I'm out, you're cooked. You're probably not winning that guy over, unless you really throw the bag of money at him. But I think Vic will be back this year.
Shit, man. This was as good a story as Bad Bunny. This was good, man. This was good, man. I'm like, holy shit here. You think Stoutland has any chance of retiring?
Depends on these coaching hires. Who are they filling in the staff with? I mean, if you conveniently get news this week that Stoutland retires, guess what, everybody? The conspiracy theories will be true. They wanted to move. They tried to basically, say to Jeff, hey, we need a different run game coordinator, or whatever the case may be. and he decided to hang him up. I don't think that'll happen.
Have they hired a run game coordinator?
What's that?
Have they hired?
No, they haven't hired one. It's not typically something that you hire for, is it? You normally like give it to somebody else, kind of.
No, but you can look on the team's website, and you could see that there's designations for like run coordinator, pass coordinator. Josh Grizzard's your pass coordinator now. You hired Josh Grizzard. Super Bowl 60. Let me ask you this. Josh McDaniels, Clint Kubiak. Josh McDaniels, Clint Kubiak, Mike Vrabel, and Mike McDonald. What coaching staff do you think has the advantage on Sunday?
I like the Vrabel staff. I like the
Vrabel, Josh
staff.
McDaniels?
Yeah. I mean, Josh McDaniels has won how many Super Bowls?
6.
I mean, so Mike Vrabel's got serious pedigree in terms of like what he's accomplished as a player, as a coach, just like everything. He's been around the game. I like McDonald, and Kubiak, I don't know. I think people get a little too high on these guys, a little too quick, But he has had a good year.
He's getting that Raider gig.
Yeah, I know he is. He's definitely getting the Raider gig.
He's getting that Raider gig. So are you signing Jalen Phillips?
What are you giving him?
Don't you think that if you're going to go priority, don't you think Dallas Goedert's more of a priority than Jalen Phillips? I've won Super Bowls without guys like Jalen Phillips.
Yeah, but you had Josh Sweat.
Okay. I mean, right, Josh Sweat, nice player. I mean, Josh Sweat, was he an elite guy or is he was a really good dude? You think I can go up maybe find Max Crosby?
Yeah, I think you can. I probably wouldn't pay Jalen anything more than $20 million. Jalen Phillips. I said that last week. That's my number. And then the article started coming out that people are putting him at 1 year, $15 million. John's losing his mind this morning.
No way.
What the hell? $15 million on that? No, he's going to get more than that. But I'd put it at 20, and then if not, I would try and make a move for Max Crosby for sure. Now, if you're going to trade A.J. Brown in the Max Crosby deal, you have to pay Goddard, I think.
Yes.
You're going to get rid of A.J. and Goddard? That'd be insanity.
It's No, and plus some money would free up. So you'd go like this. Watch, A.J. Brown and a 4 for Max Crosby. Because remember, the salaries will compensate and offset one another.
How old's Max Crosby?
I think he's 28.
No, is he that young?
Yeah. He's 28 years old.
Holy shit. He'll be 29 in August. I'd do that deal. I would do that deal.
And then
assuming AJ doesn't want to be here anymore. That's what I'm assuming.
Yes.
Because I've said I want to keep AJ in the building. I've been very clear about that. So I don't want to hear anybody, I'd like AJ Brown to be in the building. But sometimes players can make it untenable. So if that happens, then yeah, I would be in favor of that. That would be
Fernando Mendoza with AJ Brown. And to make Vic happy, hey Vic, listen here, man. We want you back. We know we hosed you on Milton, and by the way, you said it as soon. I was typing the son of a B when you went like this. I hope really plays well. I'm typing I hope wins the Super Bowl MVP. You're saying it while I'm saying it. I hit send. You went like this, Milton Williams. I go, he's right there. That's exact. I hope Milton Williams wins the MVP of the Super Bowl.
I do too. Milton Williams is a baller.
And he's a good dude.
I think he's got a great opportunity to win, to have a big game in Sunday. I really do.
You think the Patriots make this close?
I'm leaning Patriots right now. I'm hearing too much Seattle. Like, I think Seattle's a good team, but does everybody have we really reached the point with the Seattle Seahawks that we feel that they're unfucking beatable? I mean, come on, guys. They're a good team. There's a lot of good teams that happen in the NFL. They're a good team, a really good team. Any given Sunday, I like the Patriots in the spot.
That's right. It's not
right now, I'm leaning Pats.
All right, I'm going to write down my top 5.
Give me Drake. Give me Drake May, the youngster, getting the first ring out of the way.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
All right, here's my top 5 teams as of right now in the NFC. I got Seattle number 1. I got the Rams number 2. I got Chicago 3. 49ers are going to get Fred Warner and Nick Bosa back, correct?
Yep.
I got Green Bay. They're going to get Micah Parsons back, right?
Yep.
And I've got Detroit and Philly tied for 6th.
All right. In the NFC?
Yeah.
Where do you have Dallas?
I don't think they're in your room yet. There's too many question marks for me on defense. They got to get another running back in there.
Well, I do, because they don't have the players yet, but they do have do you agree to this? They do have if they want to deploy all their assets on the defense, they do have a pretty good treasure chest of assets right now.
And if they wanted to make a deal because of the trade they did with Micah.
That's what I mean. So, like, if they want to go and improve their team,
how about if they go get Max Crosby? Does that move Dallas? Oh, wait, here. Think about Dallas. If they retain Pickens and they go get Crosby, how do you think their chances are of being a player in the NFC if they?
Well, I have been accused of, when you're in Philly, you have to hate Dallas. That's kind of the way it is here. I have been accused of more shit for giving Dallas credit, but I refuse to be a bum without having a sense of objectivity. I said I liked Dallas last year. I think I liked them again. I mean, I look at that team. They had a really good offense. If they bring back George Pickens, assuming that they do, their offensive line is going to be better. That was a young offensive line. They had a lot of young guys on that offensive line. If they deploy those assets that they have and improve the defense, I mean, who'd they hire as their coordinator again? Christian Parker, the kid from Philly?
Christian Parker.
Dude from Philly that everybody likes? I mean, I think the Cowboys are going to be good next year. They're going to be back to 12-win Dallas would be my guess.
You think they're one of the top 5 teams, mate?
No, but I think they're right on the brink of where you have us.
Okay, where do you think the Giants will be?
The Giants, I don't think they're getting that much better.
4 wins. They hire Harbaugh. They hire John Harbaugh. They get Malik Neighbors back. Their defense was put in uncompromised situations last year because of that offense. You get Skeetaboo back. You also get the quarterback maybe with a little bit.
I'm not all that high on their quarterback.
Jackson Dart?
Yeah. I think he's good. I don't know what his style is going to be like when, like, first off, he's too wrecked. I mean, he's going to learn the lesson that every player learns. Yeah, I'm not going to be 22 years old forever where I can just, run headfirst into NFL guys. Dude, you're going to get decleated and and decapitated, bro. You better chill. And then I also think if you take away some of that running ability, I think he really struggles to see the field, and get the ball out. He's always since college. And, like, people will knock Jalen for the same thing, that when the running's not there, he escapes from the pocket. Jalen was way better in college than Jackson Dart was in terms of throwing the football. I mean, don't you remember watching Dart at Ole Miss? Every play was an off-schedule play downfield. So now that's translated to the NFL. If like the league always does, catches up to him this year, like they did with Jaden, like they do with every freaking quarterback, what's he going to do? I don't know. I'm not really all that high on Jackson Dart. I'm really not.
You know what? I wasn't. I didn't even really know about him until the draft or a couple of weeks before the draft when he started skyrocketing up the board. And I'm like, man, when I watched him play at Ole Miss, I was like this, Xander. Man, this guy's like, he's not very accurate. And anytime that something's not open, he'll just take off. So I was never really like, and then obviously I thought Dable was coaching him incorrectly because he was coaching him to get his ass killed. So if you're Minnesota, you're obviously not, there's no way you're staying with J.J. McCarthy.
No, I'm calling for Mac Jones immediately. Immediately.
Could you win that division with him?
I think so.
What do you make it? What do you make of Detroit? By the way, Detroit was 2-4 in their division.
I mean, the North is tough. You're going to have – see, I think the Bears, as much as I like them this year, I think they're ripe for coming back a little bit. You know, you can't win that many games off the seat of their – flying by the seat of their pants like they did. The Packers, I think, are going to be pretty legit. The Lions are going to be – that's going to be a good division. That's probably going to – that could be one of the better divisions in football again next year for sure. I mean, I think the Lions are going to be back to being good. The Vikings, I think, are going to be good if they make the right quarterback move. Packers, Jordan Love had his best year. How much will the loss of Sean Mannion hurt him? Maybe. Maybe it does hurt him. And then Caleb, what does Caleb do? Does he continue to progress, or does he try and win games the way he did last year, which is basically big luck plays in fourth quarter, not a good way to win. So that's going to be an interesting division.
Absolutely, it's going to be. So let me play a little game with you here. As of right now here on February 2nd, Gary Cobb will join us at the bottom of the hour, my friends. How do you think you do against that 14-3 Jaguar team this year?
How do you think they do against who? The Jaguars?
That 14-3 Jags team. You think they have a better you think the Eagles have a better roster than that 14-3 Jags team?
Jaguars were 14-3 this year?
Yeah.
No, 13-4. 13-4.
Okay, 13.
All right, a little better. 14-3 is pretty sick.
Yeah.
All right,
okay.
13-4. That's a pretty good Jaguars team. You know, I don't know if I'm just a Doug Peterson guy, but
and they didn't use Travis Hunter at all this year. He got hurt.
Doug Peterson helped turn that ship around.
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
I mean, he did the hard part of turning the yacht around in the docks, you know. And then once it, you know, busted the final dock on the turnaround, they changed conductors and the thing was already turned around. So Doug did the hard part, but credit to Kit Cohen for really elevating them.
Yeah.
They got Lawrence, Etienne, Brian Johnson Jr. or Brian Thomas Jr. is a great player. Jacoby Myers.
LSU kid.
Good defense, man. Devin Lloyd, Trayvon Walker, Josh Hines-Allen. They got a nasty defense.
I love that kid Lloyd since he was drafted out of Utah.
Yep. You did, dude. You love that guy.
I do. I love that kid. I wanted the Eagles to draft him, but obviously that's panned out now when getting Jihad. How about this one? How do you think the Eagles will line up against the Rams?
The Rams, I mean, the Rams are out there because they could be really good or they could take a or they could regress. I mean, the thing I think that's going for them is that they have pretty good youth and talent on their lines, but what's Devontae Adams next year? What's Matthew Stafford next year? Those are the two biggest variables.
How good is Puka Nacua going to be if there's no Stafford?
Yeah, right. I think Stafford will be back. How can you win MVP? Is he going to win MVP this year?
Yep.
How can you win MVP of the year and hang up the cleats? You can't.
He's going to be 38 next year.
Dude, you can't hang up the cleats on an MVP season. Has that ever happened in the history of football?
You know what? The only guy I've ever seen go out on top like that, but not in his prime, was Elway when he won that Super Bowl. He did the helicopter in the end zone.
Yeah, right.
And then he got to the line, but I don't remember a guy ever winning the MVP. You know what? Yeah, I think Staubach did that. He won the MVP his final year, and then he called it because remember back then you had to do 5 years of service, and he was an older guy, but I think he's like one of the only guys ever to do this. This schedule is fucking brutal. See, the Seahawks come to Lincoln Financial. Oh, the Seahawks. So let me get this right. Here's your schedule. You got, by the way, it's not put in order yet, but Cardinals you have to go to Arizona. The Cowboys are going to be better. The Jags, the Giants will be better. Washington, who you hate, I think will be better. To what extent, I don't know yet. The Rams are the Rams.
I didn't even give my opinion on Washington yet for this year. Don't put shit in my mouth.
What do you think? Okay. Do you think Washington rebounds?
I think they go where the Giants go. Right in the middle. 8 wins.
8 wins? 8-9?
8-9, 9-8, somewhere in there.
Okay. Seahawks. What about the Eagles against the Texans with this roster?
I mean, I think CJ Stroud, I think they should trade him. I think he's hard. I think he's ruining their shot at a Super Bowl.
Okay, what do you think of that defense versus your offense and your brand new coordinator? Just curious. Against D'Amico Ryans, your Bama guy.
Dude, I didn't say I don't like their defense. I think their quarterbacks is stiff, and I really don't. I don't think they should move forward with them. So I like the Eagles in the game. I do.
Ooh,
classic 13-12 victory.
Ooh, the Indianapolis Colts and the Shanksters back. The Shanksters back in Philly, man.
I was trying to figure out what you were saying there for a second. The Shanester? Is that what you're calling
the Shanester, man. Shane Steichen. He's back in Philly with his Colts and the greatness of Daniel Jones. Doing. Yes, sir. That's a pretty good football team.
Yeah. Well, we got to remember what we got. Remember, we got a first place schedule again next year.
First place. This will be the toughest schedule in pro football. After that, you got the 49ers in Santa Clara. It's a shame.
We're like we're talking about a bunch of Goliaths. I mean, we're talking, there's some good football.
No, I'm talking about teams that are like right now aren't talking about their coordinator retiring and getting rid of their star receiver.
Vic will be back. Vic will be back.
Bears at Soldier Field. Look at this, man. You got the Carolina Panthers.
I think that's a nice little revenge game, Bears at Soldier Field for the Eagles.
Oh. Revenge game for Barkley, right? Or no, revenge game for the defense on getting rolled.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. Look at this. So you got Carolina, playoff team. Pittsburgh, playoff team. Chicago, playoff team. 49ers, playoff team and a win against you. Texans, playoff team. Seahawks could be the Super Bowl champs. Rams, playoff team. Jaguars, playoff team. Hey, woo! This is going to be a big old ass schedule here, my friend.
All right. Are you already black pilling on next year? I mean, come on.
Well, if you lose Vic, okay, say you don't. One of these. No, a couple of these. If you lose Vic, Lane, AJ, and Goddard, Jalen Phillips, N'Kobe. You lose 3 of those 6. How you doing?
Are you tipping your hand on your predictions for this year? They're not going to be very pretty if that happens, huh?
I'll tell you this right now, man. If some of those things happen, I'm looking at a 7-win football team.
No, stop. 7 wins?
7 wins. You lose A.J. Brown, and you lose Dallas Goddard, or you lose A.J. Brown, or how about this one even? Say you lose Lane and Goddard. Okay? Or then you turn around and you lose N'Kobe and Jalen.
I think Lane will be back. The question for me on Lane is how many games does he play?
Got him come back the rest of the season.
Maybe he could retire. I mean, he could retire. I don't think he will though, but it depends that foot, man. I mean, I don't think he wants to go out on the terms he did this year. I really don't. But if it gets announced he needs like surgery or something after waiting, the whole year, to try and remember, they never put him on IR. He was supposed to be back after 4 to 6 weeks. Then he never came back. If that foot is worse than we thought, then that could potentially be something to flag. But we'll see. We'll see, brother.
Well, you know what? I did want to tell you that Gary Cobb, see them helmets behind Gary Cobb right now? Gary Cobb's helmets are older than the coordinator you just hired.
Oh, man.
How you doing, kid?
I don't mind the Mannion hire. The problem for him is that he's got the expectations here are to win quick. You don't have time to learn, my friend. You better start simulating games right now in your basement because
that's right. Get on Madden.
Yeah, I mean, bro, you don't have any time to learn next year. It's not
Filet Mannion.
You're expected to be a finished product on day one.
Let me tell you this. If this guy doesn't make this offense roll, he'll be filet mignon.
Yes, he will.
He'll be filet mignon.
Nick Sirianni will really be the one that's filet mignon.
Oh, yeah.
He's out of scapegoats. There's no more scapegoats now.
Absolutely. My friend, we will see you, and we will see you tomorrow on Bird 365. Make sure you guys check him out. How you doing, bro? Thank you very much, Big Z.
Thank you, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
You got it. All right. Without further ado here now, I don't know. I mean, so I was told after 18 18 interviews. They land on this Sean Mannion guy, and then Vic, now it's coming out on whether or not he's going to be retired. The Eagles are just that team that continue to give you a lot of juice and a lot of content. So without further ado, we bring our friend in from Fox 29. Gary Cobb joins us now. I can't wait to hear what G-Cobb has to say. Super Bowl 60 week. So, G-Cobb, after 18 glorious interviews, they find a guy who's been a coach for 24 months.
Mm-hmm.
Not a coordinator, but a coach, period, for 24 months in Sean Mannion from Green Bay. Before we get to Vic, let's go there. Give me your assessment on another guy who's never called plays. He's a new offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, clearly, you're taking a serious chance. There's no doubt about that. I can understand why they would, though, because they don't want to bring in somebody that's going to be old and played out. Because they already had that. That's what we had last year. We had a guy that was running the offense, but that's the offense that I played against. I mean, come on. The simple, simple things, and because really, I say when I was playing in the league, they weren't. Everybody wasn't pushing the envelope with 3 and 4 receivers on the field, motion and everything. A lot of times it was run. They were going to run the ball for the most part on first down, and that's the way the Eagles are. They're going to run the ball on first down, and really a lot of times you wouldn't even see, like on third down, you're going to see 3 wide receivers. But other than that, they're not going to be. They're going to have two wide receivers on first down. This is the game that I played when I was in the league. But come on, you got to come up more than that now. And so I believe that this young kid they had he came in, he showed them some different things, and they liked the fact of the people he's played for, and that he's borrowing a lot of their ideas, and he's coming in, giving his ideas and things. And I wish they had got somebody earlier, somebody that was proven and everything. But I think that what they were looking for, especially they got 2 of them really. They brought in two guys. They got the number one guy that they saw, and they got the other one too. A kid from Tampa Bay,
Josh Grizzard.
That's right. So they got both of those guys, and with the position they were in, I probably would have done the same thing, because I think that they got a kid who's got a lot of great ideas. He's seen people with better ideas than what the Eagles were putting out there last year. Yes, he doesn't come in with any experience, but you couldn't get both. You couldn't get somebody who was on cutting edge and somebody who's going to come in and give you some bright ideas. So they said, you know what, we're going with the bright ideas. We're not going to go with experience. And so this is what they got. And then they ended up getting a guy who's already been an offensive coordinator by getting the guy from Tampa too. So they brought both of them in. So I can understand why they did that.
But Gary, okay,
yeah,
help me out on this.
Now
though.
it could go south. We know it could go south, but not necessarily. It could flourish too.
How about this? Don't you think that this also puts more pressure on Nick? Because if you're going to hire somebody,
puts pressure on all of them. Really, come on, all of them are under the gun. Jalen,
but if you're the owner, if this fails,
yeah,
Vic's out. I mean, Nick's out. Sirianni's out. No. You're not going to have 3 fires in 4 years, are you?
They could start thinking about that. I don't know that he would be, but that's something they would consider. Yeah, I could see them considering that. Yeah, I could see them considering that, especially, somebody blossoms this year, and they go like, you know what? We want that offensive coordinator. That's the guy we want. We want somebody come in here next year and bring in those ideas, But these guys, I mean, that's part of their job, is they're going to be on the cutting block if they don't succeed. And he knows that, and they're not going to go forever with Nick there if he's not doing well. I mean, because I know they want to win. And so they went out and they got this these two young guys they're bringing in.
So they're doing it by committee then.
To some extent, I think that it's I don't think it's all just committee, but I definitely think they're taking both of their ideas, because look, they had both of them come in. They come in, they give their ideas and things of what they want to do, and now they're going to have those two guys working together. That's what they're going to have, because one is the passing game coach, the other's the offensive coordinator. So
Yeah,
they
but
clearly
Gary,
they're going to have to work together.
Get me here. If I'm a player in that huddle,
yeah,
and Kevin Patullo now has called plays, Josh Grizzard has called plays, Nick Sirianni's called plays, and the only guy in the building on the offensive side that hasn't called plays is the new coordinator. I mean, how is that not by committee? So if I'm a player, I'm like, wait, which guy doesn't fit? That guy, he's never called plays. He's only been a coach for 23 months.
Now they are
Now,
taking
I'm with you. He must have impressed them.
Yeah, he must have impressed them. But I understand where they were at. Okay. They basically, maybe some of the people they would have liked to have gotten not available. They're gone. So they're sitting in the chairs. They love the ideas this kid is bringing in, because he's been all these the coaches that they would love to go get those coaches. They would love to bring them in. Like, they would love to be able to go and out to LA, right? And get the head coach, bring him in here. They would like to do that. Can't do that. See,
I remember going to a dance one time at Stanford High School. They invited like the Catholic High guys over to Stanford High. And I remember all like the football nights guys like yourself, they were dating all the really hot ones. And there I was like, I got to do this. That's what's left. Holy crap. All right, I'll take her over.
Well,
is that what you're saying right now? I'm picking up the leftovers here.
Well, I think that, till he proves himself, you could say that. Yeah, you could say that. But out of the choices they had, I understand what. Now it could blow up in their face.
Yeah,
it could very well blow up in their face, because some of the other people they've hired, they were disappointed in. And Kevin Patullo, come on, they wanted him to step in and do a great job, but he didn't. So this is the situation they're in, and it could blow up. But I think it's what they want to do. They would rather be pushing the envelope and have somebody that's got some new ideas, rather than go with the old, played out stuff that we've already seen. So this is what they've chosen to do. Now, if it blows up, we're gonna all be sitting right there watching it. You're not gonna have to say, "Oh man, it's blowing up." You're not gonna have to say that.
Hey, Gary, this is gonna be like a bonfire. This thing's gonna be like a bonfire if this thing goes south. I mean,
yeah. Well, that's that. I think that's the choice. And really, once they fired him and they started talking about it, I think that because of the situation with a lot of the guys, some people wouldn't want to come in here because it is hot in Philadelphia. It gets hot.
Oh yeah.
It's going, and it's going to be hot one way or the other when that season starts. And people don't want to hear excuses, and they don't want to hear that. But believe me, if it goes south, boy, you're going to know right away. You're going to know somebody going, in fact, you can get a little 3-year-old kid to go out and go, hey, mom, it's going south. Kid's going to know it's messing up.
Well, I got a beef with you too, because a guy was watching the show from Tampa and he goes, yeah, Sileo's doing the same stuff down here in Tampa too. He's going after Todd Bowles. He's doing the same stuff up in Philly. A guy, JAKIB, who's on Fox 29 up there, blaming him for all the BS that's going on. I'm like, no, listen, he's part of this too, man. He's in the locker room. I'm like, the media in Philly, you're right, man. Do you think this kid has a short leash, and that's why they did hire the other guy, Josh Grizzard, in case this thing is going sideways? Because I'm going to agree with you. By the way, Gary, Sean Mannion's reputation as a guy who a lot of people like and think that this guy's going to be a star. Yeah, there's a lot of people saying this guy's going to be the next it. But they did hire somebody just in case in Grizzard, right?
I don't think that's why they hired him, though. I think they want them to work together.
Okay.
Yes, and I think they liked what they heard from both of them. See, so they would like to have that. They know that that they came in with some good ideas, things they want to see, because they got all these weapons on the offense, and they would like to see them utilized. I mean, you're paying these guys all this money. Why don't you see these guys doing some of the things you see other teams doing? And I think they're capable of doing a lot of things, and that's why I think they went out and they got some young guys with fresh ideas who really, they're really going to be utilizing some of the ideas some of these other teams have. Now, we've seen, like with the Rams, we've seen how the Rams, they do a lot of things with motion, utilizing their tight ends. Now, I would like to see the Eagles draft a couple tight ends, because I don't think Goddard's probably going to be back.
Is AJ?
I think they're going to try to bring AJ back, most definitely, because I think they would like to, if the offensive coordinator, these guys they just brought in, they would like to have AJ as a weapon.
You bet.
So they're going to try to talk them into keeping AJ, and then if they come in with some good ideas, because really, what AJ was complaining about last year, he was telling the truth. That's why, everybody knew, they got a plain offense. They need some new ideas. So he would love to be utilized in some of these ways. So I would imagine he could be sold on these guys coming in, and they're going to do some different things. Now, is it really going to happen? Hopefully it will work together, but we don't have any guarantee. There's not any guarantees.
Okay, so the big story today in Philadelphia is the possible retirement of Vic Fangio. How catastrophic would that loss be if he does call it a career after 5 decades of coaching in the NFL?
Well, it definitely would be monumental, because you see the way he does it. He does a great job each year, really, of growing. Especially young guys, they learn a lot from him. And I, hear them in the locker room and how they're talking about things he said, and things they're going to do, and how they're going to play the defense, and what their keys should be, what they're looking for when they look at the tape and stuff. So they learn a lot from Vic, because the guy has been there, forever as a defensive coach in the NFL. So he's developed a lot of things, and if he doesn't come back, then they're going to be on fire, because they got to go out and find somebody then, and that's not going to be an easy job to bring somebody in at the level that he is. What happened?
There we go. JAKIB.
Yeah.
You got me. Okay, so Gary, what and how catastrophic would that be if Vic Fangio retires?
I mean, it would be monumental. It'd be monumental, and it'd be a step back, because I don't think there's anybody they could come in that's going to be on his level. But I know that they would. I don't know who's out there right now, and you got to know that when you're looking for coaches at this time, a lot of times, most of the guys are gone, because everybody's done their job of picking who they wanted to bring in. So you're going to be in a situation where it might not be the easiest thing to do. Who knows? You might have to be begging somebody else to come out of retirement. See?
He is so instrumental in what he brings to that defense. In your opinion, do you think it's more about his age, or do you think it's more about how they do business? Look at the coordinators that they have hired. Also, too, maybe it's the fact that they took a blowtorch to his number 1 ranked defense of a year ago, and he had to go out there with all those Timu signings and had to go there and make that defense. What do you think it is? Do you think it's just age?
I think it's just age. I mean, he's gotten to a point where he's working, and when you're working like that, you're putting in some serious hours, looking at tape, putting in that time, through the week. And there's a grind. I mean, and there's pressure there and everything. And maybe he's going like, you know what? I just want to chill for a while. You know, I want to do some traveling. Just take it easy. Maybe that's what he's thinking. And so I could understand that. But, you know, going to find somebody to replace him is going to be tough. But, you know, I can understand him. I mean, he's not a kid.
He's 67. He'll be 68 in minicamp or training camp, I think it is, around that time. I mean, if not now, Gary, do you not agree that if he does come back, we're talking about 1 year, so eventually they're going to have to start that replacement. Would you be okay with Clint Hurt being that guy taking over for him? Because I know Clint went down and interviewed for that Miami job, and he told him he needed a week. And so obviously I think that there was probably a conversation by the Eagles, and that could potentially be somebody because he worked with Pete Carroll. He was the DC with Carroll. Or would they go out of the building?
Well, you know, this is the thing that bothers you is, you know, if he'd done it earlier, they could hire the
Christian Parker.
That Parker that was going down there with Dallas. You know, they would love to have him here because he's raised the DBs, you know, these young DBs. And that's the shame of it. If he did retire, that he let Parker get out of here, you know, because they would love to be turning that over to Parker if that's what they were going to do, turn it over to him, because, you know, he's been around him so much that he would be able to come in. You figure come in and could do a lot of what he's done and everything. And he does such a great job of working with some of the young players he has here. So that would be a shame. But I think that, you know, you can understand him considering retiring. The guy's almost 70 years old. I mean, you could see him considering it. I mean, it's a grind to be coaching, especially you coaching in Philly. And it gets hot, man.
All right, couple more here for you. Nakobe Dean. What do you do with Dean? Now I want to throw this number at you here. He has, in the last 3 years, he has missed 21 ball games of 54 opportunities that he could have had to start. I believe that was the number that we came up with. In your opinion,
would you say in the 3 years?
In the last 3 years,
yeah,
Nakobe Dean has missed 24 ball games. Okay? And that's in 54 ball games. He's almost basically missed half of the games in the last 3 years. What do you do with him?
That's a tough call, man. Because, you know, he really is the leader of the defense. He has been.
You know what? I was wrong about him. He's turned out to be, when he's healthy, he's turned out to be a really good ball player. However, Gary, as you know, you're not available, man. I mean, I don't know how you build a football team around that.
That's a tough call they got to make, man. That's going to be a tough one. Now, I personally would bring him back because, but you got the young kid over there too, though. Golly.
Are you gonna? But how much? I mean, I think everybody wants to bring him back, but do you want to hear what PFF and you know what everyone? There's like a $17 million number on him right now. The Eagles ain't paying $7. They're not paying him as much as Zach Bond, or are they? You think?
Man,
would you deal Zach Bond?
They got a tough call to make, man. I know in the locker room, there at the end of the season and everything, he was leaving out of there like he doesn't know.
He was saying his goodbyes.
But he was saying his goodbyes to everybody and talking to the guys, and you know, a lot of these guys, you know, he's gonna continue to have the relationship, because especially the guys who they played together in college too and everything. So this is a tough call, but you know, I would want to bring him back. I mean, you know, if you see them interact, you know how important a leader he is. And see, he was really leading the way when he was at Georgia with a lot of these guys that are on the team. He was the one calling the defense in the huddle. So and he's got leadership qualities. You can see how he takes over, and the guys respect him. When he says something, they respect him. He calls them in there, they get over there, and so you see how the respect he has. So I would want to keep him around. Even if he gets hurt or whatever, because he gets them going in the right direction when they start camp and stuff, and and everybody there, all those players respect him as the leader of their defense. So it's going to be tough to see him go, even though they might have to. Because down the road, they can't pay everybody.
Okay, with that notion, I want to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl with you here, and I'm going to play again like I did last week with you, and I want to play a little Monday morning quarterback here with you. If you had to pick between Jordan Davis and Milton Williams, who would you want to have on your football team?
Oh, come on, man. It would have been really easy to say, last year would have been real easy to say, but Davis has closed the gap some, but still Milton Williams, I think he's a more complete player.
Had a great year. He's had a dominant year this year.
I mean the guys,
Can I tell you why I ask you this? My problem with this is that you draft a guy in the third round, and you developed him. You brought Clint in, you had Vic in, you moved him in multiple positions. You kind of like really gave him his foundation, and then you went like this. Well, and to your point, Gary, you go like this. Well, we can't pay anybody. Well, Milton Williams is not anybody, is he? I mean, anybody's Isaiah Rodgers. Those are anybody's. This wasn't a guy that was like an anybody. This was a guy that you could play at the 2 technique, the 1 technique. You could drop him over the nose. He's a 500-pound bench presser. You could play him in a 5 and a 7, wide 9 if you had to.
Yeah.
And you just let him walk out in free agency. Like I said, you're going to get a compensation pick for him, but how do you let that guy walk out of the building?
Okay. Well, that's a tough decision they had to make. Now, they would ask you, well, should you have let, who on the offensive side would you want to have let go? See, now, who could they have let go? See, it's a tough decision. So they had a tough.
I'd let Goddard go for Milton.
Well,
my two tackles, Mulata and Lane, I'm not getting rid of that. I'm keeping them dudes. Those dudes are probably the most untradeable guys. Would you not agree the most untradeable guys in that offense are them 2 tackles? One, you can't get rid of Lane any longer.
The tackles. Yeah, most definitely the tackles.
The tackles, right?
Yeah.
Those are the only guys. Everyone else I can move. I don't care about anybody else. I mean, so Goddard, I would have probably moved Goddard. And maybe that's why they wanted him to take but then again, they let Sweat out of the building too, and Sweat was only $19 million.
Yeah. Well, Goddard did take a pay cut.
$4.5 million.
Yeah. Those are some tough. You brought the guy in as a 3rd rounder, Gary. You know that those are premium picks that you had 3 years on the guy with a 3rd round contract. You did so much with him. You developed him. Yep.
I hate that, guys. And Gary, you being a little later draft pick, you know how front office politics work. If you have a guy in the 9th pick or the 13th pick, those guys are going to get a better look than you. The only reason that you got and split and played as long as you did was because you overachieved and played better than the guys that were drafted ahead of you. That's what Milton did, but the Eagles didn't see that. I mean, is anybody going to try to sit here and say that in the last 2 years, Jordan Davis is a better ball player than Milton? No.
Well, Milton has continued to get better. I mean, I think he's continued. I mean, but they had to make a choice. They had to make a choice. Bottom line, they couldn't bring everybody back. They didn't have
no. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because here we are again in another choice. Are you going to let Kobe walk out of the building? Are you going to let maybe one day Moro Ojomo walk out of the building because they haven't really made good decisions on defense?
Well, they're going to have to let somebody go. but they decided, they were going to pay, pay these guys off. That's why the thing about the offense choking up so much and not doing their job last year was the fact that they were the ones making all the money. That's what is so terrible about it. And that's why, if anything, if they'd have thought through it, they wouldn't have Kevin Patullo as the offensive coordinator, because they're going, look, we're paying all these guys. We got to score. We got to score a lot. And if we don't have an offensive coordinator that's going to help us score a lot, then we're wasting all these millions of dollars on guys that are not being utilized. And that's what they did last year that was so bad, in that you got the highest paid offense in the NFL. And it's the offense that let the team down. It's the reason that they didn't continue. It wasn't the defense. It was the offense that you're paying all these guys. Come on. Jalen making $50 million. AJ making, $34 million. And, Devontae making 25, and on and on and on. All the offensive line, they're making $20 million and everything. And then you can't go out and all you score was 19 points in a playoff game. That's the reason you get mad at it, because they were the ones making all the money, but they didn't do their job. The defense wasn't what came up short. It was the offense that didn't go out. They couldn't score 30 points against a San Francisco team that was playing without most of their best players were all hurt. Now, come on.
What kind of year do you think Jalen Hurts has to have in 26? I mean, Gary, isn't this a big year for him? Like, if they don't make the playoffs, if they don't make the playoffs, I think it's a big year for him.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know what the Eagles are thinking with regards to that, if they would ever consider letting him go. But I guess they would. I mean, at some point, if they're not getting what they want, and I think that this year with them bringing in these young offensive coordinators, really, both of them coming in, that they're going to want some production. They're going to want more production, and that means they want that offense, especially the passing offense. They want it to be more lethal. They want it to be able to where you're throwing the ball downfield more. They want it to be much better than what they've seen, and that's what they got to see. And so there's going to be pressure on Jalen, I'm sure, because they want to win, and they know they need production from that quarterback position. He's got to play well. So we're going to see. We're going to see. Now, I think, Jalen puts pressure on himself, but I think that they were all very much disappointed in what happened last year. So we're going to see, but they got to show up, and it's going to be exciting, because there's going to be pressure on people.
Absolutely. Last two questions for you. The Super Bowl. Who do you like in it? Who do you like? Do you like Seattle, or do you?
Yeah, I like Seattle. Yeah, I
like Seattle in this game against New England.
Yeah,
why?
Yeah, I like Seattle. Well, defensively, I think they're better. I think they're capable of being. They can be dominant, and they can dominate. And I think that I think their defense. I would put them ahead of the Patriots, and I would give the Patriots credit, though. The Patriots know how to win. And they're going to try to make it a close game. And we'll see how Darnold plays. Now, Darnold plays like he did in the NFC Championship game. I think the Seahawks are going to win comfortably, if he plays the way he did in that game, But
Gary, I made this point over the weekend, and you tell me if you agree. So Sam Darnold is making $37 million. Okay? Jalen Hurts is making 51. Dak's making 60, half of almost what Dak is making. Would you rather have a better roster or an elite quarterback? Because the elite quarterback, look, Buffalo's got an elite quarterback, and they got an okay roster. It's not a great roster.
Yeah.
Isn't it better to build like how the way the Eagles are built and how they build their football team? Look, I'm not in any way saying that Jalen sucks. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that Jalen's not one of those dudes, Gary, but you don't really have to spend enormous money at that position to win a Super Bowl, right?
I don't know that I could say that. I mean,
Well, Darnold's been fired 5 times.
Wait, say that again?
Darnold's been fired. New York with the Jets, Carolina, San Francisco. He was fired in Minnesota. They moved on from him, and now he's at his 5th place.
Yeah, but Darnold, he's played, Pro Bowl ball like last year he did. Last year he did.
Last 2 years he's been. You can make the argument that Sam Darnold, the last 2 years, with the numbers he's put up, the wins he's put up, 2-1 in the postseason, winning an NFC championship game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can make the argument in the last 2 years, outside of Jalen Hurts winning the Super Bowl a year ago, that he's the most productive quarterback that you've seen in the NFC in the last 2 years. He's gotten further. He's gotten further than Matthew Stafford.
Well, he did it this year. Last year he didn't do it. He did it this year, and we'll see. Of course, everything is going to be up or down depending on what he does in the Super Bowl. So he's shown that he's capable. He's shown he's capable of playing in a big game against a good team and going out and playing great football. And that's what you need out of a quarterback, with everything on the line. So we're going to see whether he's able to do it or not. But he's definitely been impressive. He was definitely impressive in that last game. But he's got to do it in the Super Bowl against a very good defense. The Patriots do have an outstanding defense. They've been living off turnovers and everything. So this is going to be exciting to see which one of these defenses really, you could look at it and say one of these defenses is going to win the Super Bowl, because they're going to play so well. They're going to force turnovers and help their offense score. We'll see which one of them does it, because the Patriots are very good too. I mean, they're outstanding. But I would have to go with the Seahawks, and we'll see. But this is going to be a good game. You got 2 teams, and I think that the Patriots are very capable of winning the game, I think. But I'm going to go with the Seahawks.
I got to sink this in on you on Belichick. What'd you make of that story, him not being a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Man, that was terrible. Come on. It's just terrible, man. All the success he's had and everything, there's no reason in the world he's not supposed to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and it's not good for the league. It's not. I mean, come on. When somebody produces in whoever it is, that's the good thing about the NFL is we talk and talk, but we don't decide what goes on. Who's going to show up on Sunday and win that game? They're the ones that are going to be applauded. Now, like Bill Belichick or not like Belichick, maybe you don't like his look, you don't like his personality. Whatever. The guy produced, and he won all those 6 Super Bowls. Went there like 9 times, whatever. I mean, come on. And then won 2 with the Giants.
Yeah.
How are you going to not say he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, which he's pretty much given? He's been the greatest coach in the history of the game. I mean, come on. Give the guy his due. Like I said, like him or not, there's no way in the world he should be, he shouldn't be just in the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's a given. So I don't think it's good for the league. I don't think it's good because it's all supposed to be about performance. I mean, whether you don't like somebody or whatever, but if somebody goes out and proves it to you, like Tom Brady, you could say, well, you know what? Look at Tom Brady run. Look at the way he runs, because, he can't run. But all he does is win.
Yep.
All he does is win. And if you're not going to acknowledge that and respect that, then you take what is wonderful about the NFL, which is it's all about production. Not about talking like we talk, but when the game starts, it's all about who does it on the field. And it's a shame that he didn't, go in on the first ballot, because it's really not what he did not what he did.
No, it's jealousy. It's jealousy. I mean,
whatever reason, it wasn't football. See,
that's right. It's not football related.
Yeah,
it's just not football related.
If you don't like the guy, fine, whatever. But you can't deny that he's been the greatest coach that's coached. I mean, come on.
Yep. 334 victories, 8
winning,
Super Bowl,
man. Winning.
31 postseason victories.
That's right.
I mean, Yeah, I don't know what you're thinking about here, but hey, real quick. So you don't believe Vic retires this week? You think he comes back and runs it
Yeah,
back
I
one
think
more time?
I think he comes back. You know what?
Okay.
And if I were the Eagles, I go like, what about another million?
You see, they just gave Flores, made him the highest paid. So you
Hey,
go like this to Vic. Vic, we know it's expensive here in Philly. Tell you what, we give you another Milski.
come on,
Now that makes you at $7.5 million, $8 million bucks.
come
You're
on.
the highest paid guy.
That's right.
We're good, right?
That's exactly what you do. You go in there and say, hey, look, I know this isn't about money, but speaking of money, how would you like another million? You know,
Yeah.
definitely, because you don't want him to go. You want him back.
I need a new townhouse down in the Everglades because we go down there and I go hunting down there. So yeah, I need another place and I'm ready to go. I'll be back for another year. JAKIB, it should be another interesting offseason here, man. I can't wait to see what happens this week. There's all kinds of reports.
We'll see. We'll see. And we'll know, believe me, because somebody's going to be yelling it out in the streets, whatever happens. We'll find out. So
Absolutely. JAKIB, I appreciate you, man.
all right, buddy.
You got it, Gary Cobb. Absolutely. Yeah, if I was Vic, how I'd handle it. I'd handle it this way. Yeah, man. I don't know. Yeah. Well, here's the mill. I'll tell you what. You give me a mill, and you give me that new Ferrari Dino, and package it up. And you give me that Dino. I'll take that. And by the way, I want a coupe. Or maybe tell you what, better yet, I'll take that Bentley coupe. I like the Bentley coupe. Make sure the umbrellas, sometimes when they sell them, they don't put the umbrellas in the door. Make sure you put the umbrellas in the door. Okay, right? When you're voted on by a group of your peers to receive an accomplishment, it's a shame. They're also your rivals. Yeah, you're talking about, obviously, Tony Dungy and Bill Polian were in that room voting for Belichick. Yeah, absolutely. I told people, I go, why would those guys be allowed to vote when Deflategate was about those guys? And they still had. Now, listen, I'm going to assume that Tony Dungy did not vote against him. Eskin has agenda, even though I think Howard is. Because the people, let me tell you something. You know how you know when people are relevant? When people that are relevant still come on your show. It's not about people talking to you. It's about the type of people that come on your program. Nobody goes on shows that aren't relevant. That's all right. Yeah, no. It's who goes on your shows. I mean, when we call anybody, by the way, when I book guests, I text people. I don't go through anybody. I mean, I ask them personally. I don't go through PR people. You kidding me? My days of going through PR people are over with. I'm not having that. I got phone numbers for everybody. And by the way, Eskin with Belichick, I think what he's done is I think he's blown up those cheating scandals to make them seem like they're relevant, and they're not. They're totally irrelevant in the winning of the Patriots. I think Howard's wrong. Deflated footballs, really. Deflated footballs was the difference in them winning and losing. You got to be kidding me. I mean, deflated footballs. And even if you were taping something, how do you get those plays in on time in game? How would you even get those plays in and talk to a guy? And by the way, remember, they shut the mics off with 15 seconds left before the play snapped. Well, like I said, this is completely irrelevant. So, like, when you get to the line of scrimmage and you see a defense that's lined up, say you're taping something, and then when the earpiece goes out with 15 seconds left, They changed the defense. Who are you talking to? They're completely irrelevant. I mean, you don't go up to the last second. Hey, look out for the strong safety. We taped it the other day and we saw it. The microphone goes out with 15 seconds left on both sides of the ball. Really? You think I won't tell Howard Eskin that? Okay. Well, you must not see how we talk because he knows I think Nick's a buffoon. Seals, you not only have to memorize your playbook, but you're telling me you have another team's playbook memorized on top of it. That's not, within a week. That's not happening. Seals, do you think Howie miscalculated when it came to Milton? Yeah, that's my point. And by the way, I think their scouting department miscalculated. Milton's a better player than Davis. But because Howie drafted Davis 13th, they moved the wrong guy. Davis is the guy that should have been moved. Milton's a better ball player. That's my point. They didn't keep the better player. They kept the highest draft pick. I mean, Milton Williams has not in any way whatsoever outplayed Milton Williams in the last 3 years. Do we not agree to that? And I think Davis had a pretty decent year this past year. But I don't think he's outplayed him. Last 3 years, that's not true. Milton will ask Kraft for more money. No, he just signed a 3-year contract. He's not asking for more money. I think their hands were tied. They did the same crap with TJ Edwards when they drafted Dean. Yeah, Howie Roseman is always going to have preferential treatment on the people he drafted versus free agents. That's what makes that third-round deal. But see, Davis was the 13th pick. Team said the Patriots knew their signals. So wait a minute. Easy. When you play the New York Giants and you have the same coach, or how about this? Easy, I'll give you a better one. If you're the Ravens and you play the Steelers every year, do you know their cadence? Yes or no? If you're the Jets, did you know Tom Brady's cadence? Hut. On 2, on 3. That's what they're listening for. Or how about when they went to an audible? Check green. Omaha. What do you think Omaha was? Omaha was Peyton Manning's audible. When he went Omaha, he was changing the play. So everybody in the stadium knew Omaha. You didn't know what the play was being changed to, but you knew that he was changing the play. Okay? Actually, he said it on the Manning cast. Sometimes he would throw fake signals out. And fake signals come with what? What you're doing is when you're watching, say you got a guy in the slot and you got a guy wind up in a Y and you got off ball back. Okay? He'll call Omaha. That's probably a fake one. They'll move the back up to the line of scrimmage. And that's when you see those wide receivers take a step back. Omaha, he's probably changing the play. It's formation centric in when quarterbacks change plays. And they will do that. When you're changing a play, and if you want to use Omaha, like Joe Montana's was like Black 80. And when you heard Black 80, you always looked for Rice. And you saw where Rice was. If Rice was lined up off the ball off the line of scrimmage, you had to look down the line of scrimmage to see where Frank's or their tight end was lined up. And you look down the line because if he was off the ball, it's a dummy call. If both guys, one guy moves up, one guy moves back, that's why the linebackers are behind you. Dummy, 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 dummy. That's why the linebackers are telling you what's going on in front of you. Sills, can you say Jalen's cadence, please? Wide 80. Wide 80. Leon, you're just a prankster, ain't you? Rice, Pensacola in New Jersey. I didn't know that. Milton only played 12 games and took. You're right. Wait a minute. Here. Milton only played 12 games and took 200 less snaps, saying Davis played better based off tackles is ridiculous. How about this? How many people believe that a two-down guy in Jordan Davis is a better ball player than Milton Williams? Talking about ridiculous? Your fucking dumb take. When you're getting drilled by the Bears for 290 yards. Drilled. Milton is not better than Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis has had 1 year, dude. He's been great this year. Great? Let's see. Let's take a look at that. Let's see what that defensive bent was this year. So let's see. The Patriots defense was 8th total. The Eagles was 13th. Pass defense. Patriots were 9th. The Eagles were 8th. Rushing, here we go. Patriots were 6th. The Eagles were 23rd. I don't have to go any further. They weren't very good against the run. They weren't very good against the run. Milton played good year, 5 Philly and New England. Rotating otherwise. I'm sorry, I'll take Milton Williams any day over a guy who's limited to playing nose and a one technique to a guy that could play up and down the line of scrimmage for me, especially with Vic Fangio. Milton was more. Did you see how many positions Milton played in that AFC title game? Nose, 2, 3, 5, put him out wide. You could never do any of that with Jordan Davis. None of that. He's either a 0 or 1 technique. At most, the 2 technique. I think he got better this year. After 4 years, congratulations. I think he got better. Milton's been getting better and better and better and better and better every year. He's been getting actually better and better and better every game. Yale. And I expect Milton. They're the same age. I mean, they're the same age, dude. Milton and JD, 2 different kind of players, too. Hey, Twiz, right. One's limited in how many positions he can play. The other guy's not. Correct. That's absolutely true. Milton is way better than Davis. Davis improved. I give him his justice. Okay. Who the hell is that? Yeah, listen, he improved. Still, Jalen's audibles, Helen Keller, 11. Come on, man. Okay. You're not putting Milton as a one technique for a whole season. Neither. Right. You're moving him up. I'll tell you what, Twiz. If I get players and I lose a player that's an edge rusher, or I move a defensive tackle, or I can move Milton Williams anywhere and get great production out of him, why would I want to play him as a one technique the entire year? One techniques are they're cement blocks. I'm looking for a guy to make impact in the backfield. I'm looking for a guy to make my defense as a whole better, like they did in 24. I told you this before. When you guys were telling me that you were going to replace Josh Sweat and Milton Williams, you were never going to, and you didn't. You didn't replace the versatility and the substitutional, situational, in-game stuff that Vic loves to do. He loves to keep the same guys on the field. The more I can keep my guys on the field without substituting, the better it is. Seals, how many national titles does Butch win if he doesn't leave Miami for the Browns? 5? 6? Maybe he has as many as Saban. Tell you this, Nick Saban wasn't a better recruiter than Butch Davis. You know why? He's got Hall of Famers that he recruited. Sapp, Cortez, Andre Johnson, Sean Taylor, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, Edgerrin James, the Pro Bowlers, Jonathan Vilma, John Beeson, Clinton Portis, Frank Gore. Those are all guys recruited by Butch. So wait a minute. You don't, Reggie Wayne, you don't think if Sean Taylor hadn't died, you don't think he's going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Real? Sean Taylor was better than Ed Reed. You don't think he goes to the Hall of Fame? Sean Taylor's going to the Hall of Fame. Sean Taylor's one of the greatest players the University of Miami has ever produced. I recruited the kid, helped recruit him. Sean Taylor was a special kid. Okay? A special kid. I got the call the night he died. Some of you know the story, some of you don't. But George Myra, who played with me at Miami, became an EMT. And I think he just retired. He called me, and he goes like this. He goes, Sills, guess where I'm at? I said, he goes, I'm on a call right now. I go, what happened? He goes, Sean Taylor's been shot. And I'm like, come again? He goes, Sean Taylor's just been shot. And I'm like, George, is he okay? He was dating Andy Garcia's niece. And they were living together. And an intruder broke in and shot him in the stomach area. And he did, get this, Sean Taylor was protecting the girl and the baby. Sean Taylor's daughter's alive. She goes to North Carolina. She's like a basketball player. She's beautiful. And I'm watching him die. I'm like, what? Yep. I started getting calls. Butch called me. Everyone started calling me. Larry Coker called me, and he's like, Sean's dying in front of me. Sure enough, he called me back, and he goes, he's gone. I'm like, wait a minute. I go, how many people know this? He goes, I don't think they know he's gone. And so I remember, I'm going like, oh my God. And dude, him and Jerome, Miami lost 2 Hall of Fame players to early deaths. Jerome would have been, and so would Sean Taylor have been. Sean Taylor was like so great. Like, I remember being on the sidelines. I'm watching this kid play. I remember looking at Butch going, Butch, this guy's the best thing I've ever. Like, he's better than Dion. I mean, he was just so insane. I've never seen anything like him. Speed. And do you guys ever see that video of him knocking that guy out in the Pro Bowl? I think it was a punter. He took off running. Yeah, Sean Taylor had he had a destructive device in him. Like, if you were gonna run and you were gonna run in front of him, he was gonna knock you out. I mean, yeah, he had that aura like Dawkins. He looked exactly like that, man. He was a missile, dude. I mean, I've seen great players. He's one of the 3 greatest players I've ever seen. Like, I mean, this guy had a 48 vertical. He could touch the top of a backboard from standing, like, just jump up. You never seen anything like it. I mean, he, like, when he played basketball, he'd slam the ball and, like, he'd do these Jordan-esque slams. Could shoot from 20 feet. Ran 4.5s, 4.4s. Was 6'3" or something. Hey, when you go to school like that, you play with dudes like this. Now, I didn't play with him. He was after me. But when you play with guys, and I have played with guys like that, I mean, get this. On this team, you had like Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, and you had Taylor. All these guys were on the same. Butch recruited all them guys. I mean, recruited all of them. Whew. Man, that punter was doing that BS in practice, and Taylor said if he tries that in the game, I think what he said was, Jimbo, I'm going to put him to sleep. Now, I think that's the line that I was told. He goes, he kept doing that stuff, like hitting guys in practice. And the reason he hit him was because everybody didn't want to get hurt. So the punter was hitting people in practice. And Taylor said this, I'm going to put him to sleep. He put him to sleep. He hit that guy. Hey, do me a favor. There's another one. So Ed Reed, somebody was holding Ed Reed. Do me a favor, Google it. Somebody was holding Ed Reed on a punt return. Ed was so good at it. Goes to the ref. He's holding me. He's holding me. Ed Reed circles around, and he's looking for that guy, and he knocks that guy completely out. And Ray Lewis is on the sideline screaming, holy shit. Oh my God. Oh my God. Knocked him out. Just knocked him out. Sean Taylor was the 5th overall pick in the 2004 draft when Washington drafted him. They got my full attention and respect. Greg. Okay. Thank you, Twiz. I know. Me and Eddie got a little bit of a tiff going on right now. He was talking shit on Mario and saying that the culture in the place wasn't very good. And, yeah, I told him to knock it off. So me and him are kind of got a little beef going now. He DM'd me. I'm not going to show it, but he and I got a little beef going. Don't talk shit on Mario. I said, you got to have faith. Well, the culture in the building. I go, the culture in the building? When's the last time you're in the building? He goes, 2 years ago. I go, well, it's changed. He goes, okay, well, you know. I go, yeah, I do. Love the kid. I love him. Okay? Actually, Sap and my old girlfriend took a picture and sent it to me. And she said, Sap was talking great about you. And I was like, really? Okay. And I said, yeah, Warren's a king. Belichick said they put 2 blockers on Reed every punt and left a free rusher go by just to stop Reed. Oh, yeah. Y'all can't be beefing, bro. We end up making it right after a while. We do. Yep. Hey, Ed knocked that guy out. And he took that dude out. And I heard it. He was doing shit in practice. And he was doing all of that. And he was hitting people in practice. And Sean Taylor was sitting on the sidelines. Who told me this? I think it was Wolfert told me this. Wolfert goes like, he goes, yeah, no. He goes, Sean looked over at me and said, if that guy does that shit again, I'm going to put that MFer to sleep. I'm going to put that guy to sleep. And that guy, he did it again right in front of Sean. Sean goes, you bet. He does that in a game, I'm going to kill him. And that punter did that. And he came running up the sidelines and he just knocked the shit out of him. Man, was he good. Oh, one thing about last night with Bad Bunny. So I don't know if you guys saw that. What happened last night. So let me pull this story up with Armando. So Bad Bunny last night started talking shit on he started talking shit on Ice. Let me get this, Armando. By the way, I don't give a shit about Bad Bunny or anything here. But here. Okay, so NFL celebrates Super Bowl artist Bad Bunny after winning a Grammy in anti-Ice acceptance speech. So he got up there at the 68 Grammys last night. We were watching. He ends up winning for the best urban music album. Then the NFL retweets. Apple Music, congratulations, Bad Bunny. You made history. See y'all next week on the biggest stage at Super Bowl 60. Hashtag Apple Music halftime show. So here's what the NFL did. Minutes after Bad Bunny, I'm reading out of Armando's column at Outkick, delivered his anti-Ice speech, and NFL celebrated him on social media. The league's social media department reposted the congratulatory post from Apple Music and added an emoji trophy to make it even more cute. Apple Music posts 9.5 million followers. The NFL has 35.9. Also, the league also reposted Apple Music to its 32.3 followers on Instagram. So here's the deal. The NFL are alienating people that are for the ICE federal agents. Now here, again, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the NFL and how they play everybody. The NFL don't give a shit about any of this. They care this. Bad Bunny is going against the ICE agents. Half of America is saying that guy's a ridiculous jerk. This is perfect for the league. They don't care. They're like Stephen A. Smith. They're going to play both sides. And they're like wrestling. This is like wrestling. That was a strategic plan they did. They're not for, you don't really think the NFL is for Bad Bunny ripping federal agents, or reverse. They don't care. The NFL just cares that you're going to watch the halftime show to see what the kid does. They are so good. They don't give a shit whether you're a pro ICE or not. They don't give a shit. They care you're watching, and now they've created some dynamic to make sure there's a built-in watch because you're going to wait and see. Hey, Leon, it's got nothing to do with that. Woke shit, who cares? I'm talking about selling a product. I'm not talking about what's right and wrong. Okay? I'm at all. I don't care. I think it's brilliant. The NFL, I mean, it's brilliant. Well, half the country isn't going to watch. That was a poor decision. Yeah, I guarantee you it'll be the most watched halftime show in history. You're wrong. Because they're going to want to see if the guy does something stupid. It's the Stern factor. I want to wait and see what he says next. Stern's most haters back in the day They watched him more than the people that actually liked him or listened to him. You're turning that shit off. I guarantee you, it'll be the highest rated Super Bowl in history with over 135 million people watching. And that halftime show will have the biggest eyeballs on it. Again, you're wrong. You're missing the point. You guys think you're making a political statement. The NFL doesn't give a shit about that. They care about creating controversy. They care about creating content. Okay? They don't care about, you see, look at people in here. I'm turning it off. I'm going to be doing this. Yeah, okay. Well, I guarantee you'll be the only ones. That's here. What? Hey, watch this. Yeah, but also this too, Prince. Those same people that are the same people on highways that when there's a car overturned, everybody rubbernecks. What happened? Oh, somebody die? Those are the same people that do this. Oh, wait, let me slow down. Is there somebody dead on the road? Oh, gee. Why do you think you watch NASCAR? What? Guys going left for 4 hours? Did you see that gasoline fill up? Holy shit, that was exciting. Man. I can't believe it. Did you see that guy go for 4 hours and you see that guy making those left-hand turns for 4 hours? Damn. Now you watch for the wreck. You want to see the guy wreck, spin 100 times, and then you want to see him get out of his car and wave. WWE Raw in Philly. No more covered up women. Yeah, right. I'll watch the game. Oh, dude, I'm going to watch Bad Bunny. I want to see what he does. You got me actually interested. I'm interested. Hey, by the way, political statements, that's like telling me, hey, I'm not going to eat a Chick-fil-A because they're really religious and they don't have their places open on Sunday. I like Chick-fil-A. And I'll eat Chick-fil-A whether they're religious or not. I don't care. I don't eat at places because they're this or people. So you see who they support? That's sheep shit. Hey, I'm not going there. Why? They support Trump. Who gives a shit? Do they make a good pizza? Yeah, give me it. Let's not go there and eat because the guy's a Trump dude. Or he ain't. I don't give a crap. Got to be kidding me. People are so weak with that shit. I don't eat at Chick-fil-A because the line is, there you go. Now there's the thing. Or In-N-Out Burger if you ever get to California. Did you see the plans for Lori's new $3.2 billion stadium? Oh, my God. Please tell me this thing's out. I've got to see this. No way. Who's paying for it? Who's paying for it? Where's the new stadium? Hold on here. New Eagle Stadium. Eagles are in early stages for a potential new stadium to replace Lincoln Financial. My wife's laughing. When their lease expires in 32, the conversation's focusing on $2.5 to $3 billion dome facility. $2.5. Wow. Look at this thing. Here it is. Get ready for a new Eagle Stadium, people. It's coming at some point. What do you think of the site? South Philly, plenty of room. Jeffrey Lurie has talked recently about building a new stadium at some point. 2 to 3.4 million bucks. Wow. Here's some breaking news here. Last couple hours, a major move. The Miami Dolphins have informed quarterback Tagovailoa that he will be released with a post-June 1 designation ahead of the March 12th deadline per source. That's when free agency begins. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you guys that I didn't realize this because somebody corrected me that watched it in the front office of the NFL. You can make a trade, but it can't be official until March 12th. So March 12th, deals become official. So if they wanted to move AJ this week, they could, and that deal won't become official until March 12th. So they theoretically can do that. The deal's not official, though, until the beginning of free agency and the new year starts. So that shit can happen. That's the rule from what I've been told. All right, guys, let me pay some bills here. Our good friends at Morgan & Morgan, the number one injury law firm with over $30 billion recovered. Truly one of the greatest places and family-owned businesses that you'll ever know in this country because it is family-run and family-owned. Ultimate and John Morgan have all their kids involved in the company, and their number one crusade has been to defend families across this country when you have businesses that are not giving you your right entitlement if you've ever been injured on the job. Do me a favor. This will be the easiest decision you ever make. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
Had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, Trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Please hit the like button. Thank you guys very much on this Monday as we're in Super Bowl week. You know, I'm not a real big proponent of this. I'm not a race baiter guy. I'm not. I'm really not. I that's kind of like, I want the best guy for the job. But so there were 10 opportunities for hirings in this hiring cycle for NFL head coaches. And that one black guy was hired. You know, I mean, look, I've said to you before, I want the best candidate. I want the best guy. You know, it shouldn't be equality when you're picking a coach. It should be by merit. But on the other hand, I do think you've got to open the room a little more and have more of a pool to pick from. And it can't just be white dudes. It's got to be I mean, the league can't be 75% black and you have like no coaches hired that are black. That doesn't make sense. So it's got to be candidates. There wasn't a lot of good candidates this year, period, let alone black or white. I mean, right? So, I mean, I don't know. It's always, I was asked that this weekend. Okay. Skin color has no room in business, in my opinion. Yeah, but that's coming from a white dude. Still, it's not true. Raheem was picked up. Was he a head coach? I must have missed that. Robert Saleh? I thought he was Muslim. Ray Rhodes? When was this? 100 years. I'm talking about today. Now. Aaron Glenn keeping his job. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm just, okay. Chills, none of these guys are even qualified. They're just coming highly recommended. Hey, dude, but Prince, all I'm saying is, I mean, like, nobody was like Brian Flores. You're not going to give that guy an opportunity to become a head coach again? Shit, we're talking about Matt Nagy getting other opportunities, and he's been a coach multiple times, no? Now that I love. Well, I'm not. I'm Italian. Yeah. Especially when all these guys have no experience. I like, right. I mean, so like, here's the thing with Eric Bieniemy. And listen, I don't like going down this lane. I don't, but so Eric Bieniemy has all this experience. You hired Sean Mannion, who's got none. I thought you had to work for a living to get your reputation up. Your reputation was what? You're a good dude? Yeah, I don't know. Italians are more Latino than white. Thank you very much. Flores is lucky to have a job after snitching. He wasn't wrong, though. My question, why not go with Cliff? Because Nick didn't want to be told what to do. I mean, that's why. Dude, Nick hired that guy for a reason. Nick Sirianni hired Sean Mannion for a reason. One, he was impressive. Wait. Here's why I believe he hired Sean Mannion. He seems to be a very smart guy. He looks to have a ton of potential. He looks to be a guy that, looks like he could work with a coaching staff. Matt LaFleur highly recommended him. All good. All of that stuff is irrelevant. That's how you get the interview. How you get the job is what? Your resume. How'd you get the job? You didn't get it off your resume. Where'd you get the job from? Other people telling you how good of a guy he is? That's my problem. I mean, you didn't get the job based on your resume, because there's no resume. I mean, Sean Mannion's resume is that. So how did he get that? I mean, I hear people in Philadelphia on the radio going, "Hey, I like the hire." You're like, based on what? An interview somebody recommended saying he's a good dude? That's surely not. I mean, look, this is how you get the interview. You fill out a resume. Well, if you filled out the resume, it's not very long. What do you fill the resume out with? 3 lines? I've been a coach for 24 months. I've worked with Matt LaFleur, and by the way, I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express. Yeah, we're good. They hired him to steal his ideas. He's not creative like the new guys, so he wants their playbooks. Oh, so you think this guy knows, because Matt LaFleur is a very accomplished and very thought of like play caller. He really is. So you're saying that because he worked with Matt and he's learned all the things through Matt with that McVay tree, that right? Okay. It's not among resume sales. It's about knowledge of the game. He's probably a real smart coach. How could you have knowledge of the game when wait a minute. You're taking into account that he was a player, and that means that he knows how to call plays or knowledge of the game? How do you have knowledge of the game? His resume is more as a player than it is as a coach, right? He's not hired. He's not being signed as a player. He's being signed as a coordinator, not a coach, a coordinator, an offensive coordinator. This is not true. It's Andy Reid 2.0, but he's an OC, not right to head coach. Andy Reid worked with Mike Holmgren for 8 years in Green Bay. This guy's worked for 8 minutes in Green Bay. I mean, you think everyone listens to that bullshit? I'm not sure what you're talking about, brother. Goodell loves controversy. Obviously helped Robert Kraft out of his situation. So it's funny, isn't it? Robert Kraft goes from being accused of sex trafficking, what was it, 5 years ago, to going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Bill Belichick supposedly cheated, and Robert Kraft is going into the Hall. Got it. Let's see. Was Robert Kraft accused of sex trafficking? I thought he was. Okay. Right? Kraft just wants... would have had Bad Bunny. Hey, let me tell you, I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see that. I can't. I can't wait to see that halftime show. I can't. No way, man. Yeah, so Robert Kraft is going to go in. He's going in this week. He's going to go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I guarantee you. All the billionaires who own hotel chains. Yeah, right? Well, I'll tell you this. So the word is now is that it is 11. There's 11 dudes, and I think 3 have come out. I talked this weekend to a bunch of folks, and it was a 45-minute Zoom call. They weren't in the same room. So it was 45 minutes, and Bill Polian was the guy that was the adamant guy that did not want Belichick to be a first ballot. He said he's going to get in anyway. And remember something about him. Not only did he beat his ass in Indianapolis, he beat his ass when he was with the Buffalo Bills after he took over for John Butler. Patriots won in spite of Kraft and his cheap butt staying under the cap every year. They won because of Kraft. Because Kraft did it 3 times. Kraft has done it with 3 sets of pairs of coach and quarterback. I mean, he's the greatest owner in Super Bowl era. Nobody's close. There's not one, maybe Art Rooney. You could make that conversation. He's the greatest he's the greatest owner. This is his 11th Super Bowl. I mean, nobody's close. Heard that part of the problem is that many black coaches get jobs that are focused on managing the players and don't get the X and O experience that the white coaches get. Any truth to that? Brian Flores was taught in New England. He was up there forever. He was around some of the greatest coaches of all time. I think Brian Flores is, because of the lawsuit against Stephen Ross, I think that he should be a head football coach. He is a great and brilliant-minded guy. And in my opinion, I think he turned the culture around in Miami. And I think the coach, Mike McDaniel, went down there and took many of the things that Brian Flores has done. And Brian Flores really changed the culture. Well, when the culture started eroding, Mike McDaniel couldn't reel in the players any longer because there was discipline down there. And he was putting discipline. Of all the coaches that come out of that Bill Belichick tree, I think Brian Flores is the best coach that's ever come out of that tree. Maybe Bill O'Brien. I'm talking about going on and doing things in other places, not just with Bill. I think Flores has been one of the most successful coaches. It's in a Nevada state Supreme Court. And I think that case is to be heard after the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. John, as I said, I had Carton on with me this weekend, and Craig said this, that he was called by the Jets. There was an interview on a station down in Tampa on WDAE, my old station. And they said that John Gruden, because John was on, but they didn't ask the right question. They didn't ask, hey, did the Jets offer you the OC job? John said, no. The guy didn't follow up and say, like I did with Frank Reich, did they try to carve out a position for you? He didn't follow up. And he made a mistake because Craig Carton called up Woody Johnson and then called up Aaron Glenn. And they said, yeah, we talked to him. Why people here saying it's anti-American, why the salary cap keeps going up? Salary cap keeps going up because the National Football League's business keeps going up. Kraft didn't spend. That's not a team in the past 25 years. There's not a team in the past 25 years to have more cap space. So what? Why? Because they're smarter than most teams that overspend, like what, the Saints? I mean, you're dismissing the winning. In the last 25 years, they've been to 11 Super Bowls. They've won 11 AFC championship games. And they've won 6 Super Bowls. You're talking about spending? I'm talking about winning. What the hell are you talking about? The NFL is trying to take over soccer position. Well, they'll never happen. The NFL is not a global sport. Where's football played? Canada, the United States. Where else? Where's it played? It's not played in Europe to any extent. Where? And the only place you're going to expand a type of football is flag football. That's why it's an Olympic event now. They're just, okay. They won in spite of him. How are they winning in spite of him when he's done it with different? Dude, he went to the Super Bowl with Parcells and with Bledsoe, and now he's here again. What do you mean they won in spite of him? Imagine that. So since 2000, Bob Kraft has been to 11 Super Bowls. This guy's saying they win in spite of him. Okay. Well, who's putting the team together? Who's hiring these guys? I mean, what are you talking about? He had brilliant coaches. Well, who fucking hired him, guy? Roger wants to go global with the NFL. No, he doesn't. Triple D, why do you think they want games in Europe and overseas? So the games can start earlier. So the dollar machine can start earlier. If you start a game at 5 o'clock Pacific time, okay? 5 o'clock Pacific time. That means that the cash register is starting from 5 a.m. in the morning Pacific time and going all the way through Sunday Night Football, right? I mean, dude, the NFL owns Sundays now. The NFL owns Sundays. And the NFL owns all the holidays. London-based team coming soon? Maybe. Why do you think the Glazers own Manchester United? That could be I'm not saying they would move the Bucks there, but I'm saying that something like that, yeah, London. You could play divisional games and playoff games in London. I don't believe you could play a Super Bowl because it'd be in the middle of the night, like 3 o'clock in the morning. So I don't believe you could do that. That's right, my friends. All right, speaking of that, got to pay some bills again. Over $30 billion recovered from our friends at Morgan & Morgan. The number one injury law firm in all of America. They defend families. Guys, if you're ever hurt or injured on the job. John Morgan told me this story a long time ago. His family who runs this business, it's family owned and family run, told me that, listen, his number one quest when he got into this was to defend his brother who was injured on the job. And it's been a crusade ever since, defending families across the country. You'll never see anything like it. And again, trust me when I tell you, this will be the easiest decision that you ever make in your life. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound love 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound love 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers, Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Guys, I appreciate you. Super Bowl week. Get a bunch of people on this week that played in the game. Hopefully we get Bill Romanowski on, a bunch of other people that played in the ball game. We appreciate each and every single one of you. We will see you again 2 to 6 tomorrow, and we will catch you on the flip side.